Greetings. Happy day. I haven't done this for a little while, I don't think. I forget. Got a new camera, it's a Logitech 9000. I've been without camera for quite some time. Was without a flute for a while, was without a saxophone for a while, was without all kinds of stuff for a while, but for some reason, hi, whoever came. For some reason, I'm finding myself with almost $2,000 in liquid assets at the moment, and I don't even know what to spend it on besides some silver. There's no, I'm not really ready for a torch yet. I need better a lapidary machine before I need the torch. Actually, I can still just do wire wrap and do a little bit of soldering with my mini torch. And there's just I could grab a flat lap, but I prefer multiple wheels than changing the flat lap wheels. That's what I'm trying to get away from, is the single wheel. I want something with at least 4 wheels on it. It's hard to find those for less than like $1,500, and that much I don't have. What can I say? What were you doing May 29th in the middle of the afternoon when when the fire spread from Minneapolis to the rest of America? That afternoon's burned in my family's memory completely, every single one of us. I haven't talked to my brother about it yet, but my sister's family and my parents and I were all tuned into each other pretty much that afternoon, because my dad was sitting there watching it on TV, and I was sitting watching my screens, and all of a sudden Dad goes, "Oh, Madison's on fire. Oh my God, Madison's on fire." Well, my niece, Sarah, was on duty with a dog that was way too old. He should have been retired last winter, and something happened with the replacement dog. So she's still stuck with him. She was going to take him home. He should have been a house pet by now. And instead, he was right there when the rioting started. Too old, and all Sarah, Sarah hung back because she, that's not, she's not supposed to do anything. And she was praying that she wouldn't have to do anything, because if the dog had to do a bite takedown, it would possibly be his last. So she's just sitting there shaking her head at everything the whole time, while my father's sitting there stunned, and I'm like scrambling. That didn't happen yet. That's right. That was after, I left that, my family's scrambling. Okay, immediately, because John, Sarah's husband, got called into work immediately, and somebody had to cover the kids. So Matt, her brother, ran over. I'm not sure where he is. He's somewhere closer than my sister, because they had to come down from Wapaka. Betty stayed for a week. Alan had to go back to work, and the other in-law, the other parents came down to cover the kids. Let Betty go back to Wapaka. I left my dad. I'm going out to the, I was planning on doing a prayer ceremony on the plaza, and just as I'm getting ready to leave, one of the people I was supposed to meet went live with Facebook chasing an ambulance full of her dead son. They didn't know what happened at all. He had been drinking, come home around dawn, and they've been watching him like close, and just they came in at one moment and the pulse was gone, and the EMTs couldn't get it back, and they took him to the hospital and declared him dead. So between my family all uptight over the kids on duty for 12 hours a day, every day, and me helping my friend bury her son, and all this shit going on in front of my face, and like really, really intense attacks from the idiots. I mean, they literally destroyed my media. I went, I figured, okay, well, I'll pay $50 and hopefully I'll be protected here. In a week, they got it shut down, and I don't even know why. Medium just returned the money and never said a word. Haven't responded to my emails either, except with a bot. Oh, thanks for contacting us. I can hardly breathe because of the Bighorn fire. All the smoke's in the basin now. Fortunately, I'm on the south end of the basin. If I was living on the north side, I couldn't be breathing. I know if I go outside, I've already been outside, it's like gags me. and I could just barely smell the smoke over here. I know if I go downtown, I'm gonna need a respirator. And I've been cooped up here. I've hardly been past the Santa Rita Park since this started. Only been downtown a few times. I haven't been out and over the university to pick up stuff, and to the grocery store to get groceries. And other than that, I've been in here either working on songs, well, music, or at the desk, and mostly at the desk. My work table's a mess. My keyboard's got shit all over it because I'm sitting here on top of everything else. I got the building's infested with roaches and mice, and they just won't go away. I've gone through it's been sprayed twice professionally. I'm requesting a third. Today hasn't been so bad. I don't see any around my desk because I've been spraying the shit out of them. I have to keep a bottle right here. I've gone through almost a gallon. What else? I don't know. Got a new flute. It plays nice. I've got a new saxophone. It plays nice. Hi, Frog Spawn. No life matters more than any other. I have a real problem. People don't come in black and white. People come from pink to purple. And just the whole, Fred Hampton talked about it, how you can't fight racism with more racism, where here the whole notion, Black Lives Matter, is affirming the racial division that is imaginary to begin with. So, I don't know any black people. I don't know any white people. I know people of varying skin color. Some of them are darker than others, and some are more pale. But we're all the same species. We're all the same race. Thank you. So I've got to, I'm old school on this. Fred Hampton was my homie, and thank you. Fred Hampton's my homie. While he was standing there serving his community with the Black Panther Party, I was serving mine with the Jewish Defense League. They got assassinated, and we got suborned. And that's the way it's been: co-opt, interdict, or assassinate. And I'm afraid that the three women, I forget their names right off the top of my head, three women that started Black Lives Matter, just useful idiots for the Zionists. So I saw this with the UUWS, the United Urban Warfare Society, when they were jamming the rainbows about gathering the Black Hills, when the Rainbows really had a good relationship with the tribal councils, and they didn't. They were speaking for the tribal councils with a bunch of shit that sounded like Zionist propaganda tailored to natives, where the BLM propaganda I see seems to be tailored to natives. Same shit with Antifa.com. I mean, what kind of crap is that? There hasn't been, BlackLivesMatter.com. That's a fucking CIA front. You can't do a damn thing with a .com without the NSA being all up in it, seeing everything you do. It just doesn't happen. That's the way the internet is rigged. And so, any real, true revolutionary Antifa, because Antifa is strictly about resisting fascism. It's not about tearing any systems down. They don't even have the resources. What do I think of Greta? Smart young kid that I as far as I can tell, she's totally self-motivated, and her parents at first resisted her, but when she insisted, they got behind her, is what it looks like to me. How she got connected to that and where her money's coming from, I haven't tried to trace. This side, the connection's kind of sucky. She's a kid, and I see kids all over. One thing they're doing that I object to is that they're kids of all colors. They're jumping up. There's a bunch of Native kids here that are saying the same shit. Bunch of urban kids of color saying the same shit. I was going there. There were a couple of climate strike actions here that they did, and it was a mixed crowd. It was, all ages. Of course, Tucson activists, the adults, from 18 to 55, these people all have straight jobs and are completely politically unconnected. So you go to a rally in Tucson, and it's all older people and kids. You don't see many young adults here at all. but they're generally peaceful. We didn't have much violence here. Although I heard something, I haven't seen the news. I checked last night. I was thinking of going out. I'd been speaking to one of the uh, Office of Professional Standards officers Friday afternoon, and she said that the whole department was on alert because of demonstration plans for Friday night. But when I checked with them, and I was going to go out in and find out where the hot spots were before I went out, the only one they told me to stay away from was 22nd and Alvernon, which is like generally a shitty neighborhood to begin with, over on the southeast corner of Reed Park. No, but I didn't see any reports of anything. What's going on here? I just got a notification. God, I really should read this shit. I started too early at Facebook. Kathy Blazer is one of the main organizers of the transgender families at Facebook. She and Debbie Jackson, who is the main organizers for transgender parents everywhere. I think Debbie is working through HRC, the Human Rights Campaign, but she's the main mama, and Kathy's the backup, who is not quite as visible to the public, to the general public, because she's administering the parents group at Facebook, where Debbie's doing the public speaking, and Kathy's dealing with the families directly at Facebook. And she's just, trigger warning, content warning, self-harm. Well, this has been a full-on triggering as fuck 24 hours. Nothing like it being 2 a.m. and sitting in my garage with my dog literally shaking. I wrap myself up in my armor of badass warrior chick and try to damnedest to shore up holes in the armor the moment they appear. But some things get through, and you want to know a fun fact? They hurt a lot when the holes appear. I can handle being called a bitch or any insult you can imagine. Actually, if it was a creative insult, I would probably even compliment you on it and agree with you. I'm the same way. If you can't disagree in good humor, fuck off. Plain and simple. If disagreement makes you angry, go the fuck away. Plain and simple. Actually, if it was a great, you know what I can't handle and don't handle well, don't tell me to be nice or be quiet. I will flip the fuck out. This is why. And that's pretty much the same with me. If I'm raging, don't tell me to calm down. That's just gonna get me madder. Here, my entire 46 years on this planet, I've been told certain things. Smile more. You would be pretty if you smiled more. Just be nice. She's never been specific with me before, but I'm feeling as though she was severely sexually abused repeatedly from a young age. That's what it's feeling like to me, where she's coming from today. I was operated on as a child and then forced into an unnatural gender role. Two completely different reasons for us to be angry and unhappy with the world. And it was an interesting exchange where, she came clean on me. And I saw immediately where I was mistaken in what I said to her. Smile more, stop talking, same usual shit. You're too much, tone it down, just be nice. You're a smart girl, just glorify stupidity and stigmatizes intelligence. So what happens is when somebody like myself or Kathy with a wide vocabulary starts opening our mouths, people, instead of asking for clarification when they don't understand a word or two, they get angry. Instead of letting us teach them a new word. Oh, good. They've been running tankers over the Bighorn fire. There's a bad hotspot. They evacuated the lower foothills, Oro Valley and shit for a minute, and then let them go back. But they're still under alert. They're in yellow down low. The only red spots up high near Catalina. It hasn't burned 10,000 acres yet, which is kind of, I haven't seen a really big fire out here like they get in California. Really nice weed this week. $140 or $160 for 4 ounces. So it's more than this week. It's more like this month. We'll see. He's only sold 1/4 out of it so far. The plan was I would buy it an ounce at a time, and he'd sell the rest. Anything I hadn't smoked yet. I'm such a dumbass. So much smoke in the air, and I'm putting smoke in my lungs. It's just I don't have a card, and I can't afford edibles. It doesn't work as well as smoking it anyway. Yeah, this is just 2 months here. Let me read. We're all, just ready to blow a gasket. Every last fucking one of us. We are the peaceful, angry people, and our voices are needed. Here's what I said to her, and I put the Helen Reddy, I Am Woman on in the background. Let me share my 66 years of experience living in this world, born with a beautiful, very intelligent soul into a fairly attractive, quivering sack of protoplasm. Trust me when I say that you're one of my internet friends most dear to me because of these similarities and your writing style. Be grateful nobody was forcing you to be something you weren't, which tripped her trigger because she was a victim of repeated sexual abuse, apparently, just suppressing you for expressing yourself because it sets off bits of cognitive dissonance in them. And I put her list down. Everybody makes their own decisions. When I was around 40, I was ready to do battle, just like you're doing, and did right up until about 2010 when I realized that I was alienating the people I wanted to reach and only had psychopathic suck-ups for friends. We live in a society that glorifies stupidity and stigmatizes intelligence. Taking the high road has worked much better for me. When I say anything that sounds like shit we both heard all our lives to you, that's as a suggestion, not an imperative. As time goes on, you'll discover these things for yourself. Believe me, insults are good to end a conversation, but they're conversation killers at the beginning of it. I'm not at all telling you to tone it down. I'm just suggesting that you focus your rage more tightly so as not to drive people you want to reach away with it. These are really awful times, and it's just getting started. You're a brilliant writer with a lot of experience and a role model for thousands of parents of transgender kids. We are the voices of the peaceful, angry people rising up. We need to rise up in harmony with each other. You're one of the lead singers, and I'm one of the backup vocalists. I'm just trying to get in tune with you, Chica. And she said, I'm not willing to air out on Facebook what those bullet points led into my life. Rest assured that it was a soul-crushing trauma and abuse, and I will leave it at that. And she took exception to be grateful nobody was forcing you to be something you weren't, just suppressing you for expressing yourself. That's a big assumption right there. Also, I said fairly clearly in the post that it did force me to be someone I wasn't for about 40 years and damn near led me to killing myself at one point. I don't know Facebook or anyone on the Facebook the extent those items were used against me and how. But anyone that's been groomed and manipulated with abuse can tell you those are all pretty classic lines. I said, you're right. I was thinking in trans terms, not realizing that there are so many other reasons the corrupt system forces people into life roles of all kinds they don't want to be forced with. The only one you owe anything to is yourself, and you always need to be true to yourself. What somebody else thinks about you shouldn't be of any concern to you. Please always know that when I say something to you about things like this, it's only from my own much longer experience fighting stupidity on the internet. My mental and physical health is much more important than my duty to educate the ignorant, comfort the traumatized, entertain the bored, and emasculate the willfully stupid. For myself, raging at stupidity has become detrimental to both my image and my health. I need to keep it chill or I might stroke out. Know that I'm always right there for you and any other trans parent or trans person of any age to fulfill whatever need you have that I'm capable of fulfilling. That's my duty to my ancestors and all the generations of queer kids not yet born, and I'm proud to be able to help. Crazy, crazy times. Crazy times. Please don't ever call me buddy again. I'm female. I'm trans feminine intersex person who was forced into an unnatural gender role all my life. And I just can't stand being called anything like that anymore. I'm Tommy, girlfriend, sister, not buddy, pal, dude, none of that shit, please. As for the Third Reich, my opinions on that are that it was a total fucking sham, the whole thing. Hitler was just a useful idiot of the bankers. All he was. The Zionists played him for a patsy. That's all that went down there, as far as I'm concerned. We're dealing with a New World Order cartel of multinational industrialist bankers that's been in business off into antiquity. You can see these people's bloody footprints all over history. All of them. All Rothschild, Morgan, DuPont, Guggenheim, De Beers, all these people. De Medici, Borgia, all the well, so then you call me bro. I'm not your bro. Strike two. Now, please respect my identity. If you do it a third time, I'm just going to assume that you're here to bait me. So anyway, all of the European, we're dealing with something that, that history is written by the winners, and the history you've been reading is bullshit. That's what that is. Nothing's really changed in the world for thousands of years. And it's probably the same bloodlines running the show since the time of Nimrod, according to some researchers I've talked to about this. No, I don't. Not at all. The whole concept of black and white and all this happy shit. This is all playing into the old ways. Fred Hampton used to talk about you can't fight fire with fire. You fight fire with water. You can't fight racism with more racism. You fight racism with unity. And you can't get unity by, beating up on white people because of what somebody else's ancestors did to black people before. We have to come to the here and now and accept the fact that we are all brothers and sisters of one race, the human race. We need to love each other unconditionally. If we don't like what the other person is doing, violence is not an appropriate conflict resolution tool. Plain and fucking simple. That's what needs to go away. It has nothing to do with black and white. That's part of the bullshit that keeps us that keeps us separated against each other. Next. Well, see, that's one of the questions that that should never be asked of a transgender person when you first, it's okay to ask someone like me that says, go ahead and ask. But never ask that when you just meet somebody. And for myself, it wasn't a matter of finding out that I was the wrong gender. It was discovering that I was the wrong sex. I remember the date and hour that it went down. I lived in an extended family environment. And up until my sister's first birthday, I had no idea that I wasn't a girl. And in preparation for my sister's birthday party, I'm expecting to get my hair curled and my cousin's pink dress handed down to me. Well, that didn't happen. They brought this brand new silly blue sailor suit with silly fucking shorts and took me to the barbershop and got my first buzz cut. And they never understood why I cried so much at the barbershop, but didn't have a problem with the shot or the dentist. But boy, I just bawled when they took me to get my head shaved. And I was years and 9 months old when, it's like, well, sorry, girls don't have penises. I said, well, what does my pisser have to do with what's going on in my head? And this was a big confusion for all of us. It's not a matter, some of the tropes are just off because, first of all, if you heard this from any transgender person, you only heard it from one. This is only my experience. And it's, I found that there are very big differences between my own experience and the more common experiences that people go through. But this, you hear something about what is and what isn't transgender. That's only one person's opinion. So it's really, the whole born in the wrong body shit is a bunch of crap. Basically, what's going on? Thank you. Basically, what's going on is there's just too much variation in the human genome. We're a highly variable species. They all suck. Probably, and as far as garbage goes, I don't like any of them actually anymore. Wendy's was the only place I ever got got food poisoning from on their salad bar in San Antonio. Totally blew a flea market weekend, puking and diarrhea in a tent. Burger King probably makes the best burger, but I'm here in Tucson. This is a foodie paradise. We have a place called Hub that's real good, and a place called Wendy's that's real good. That we got monster burgers here, and fuck that shit that they serve the fast food places. Van Halen, I never really listened to. I'm more of I'm an acoustic player, and I was always more into jazz and blues growing up than the rock and roll, and I never really got past anything harder than Led Zeppelin's too hard for me usually. It's boring too because all they're doing is wanking on the guitar in a couple of different chords and keys, and it all sounds the same after a while to me. So I always liked more the vocalists that got some meaning to their lyric, like James Taylor and Cat Stevens, and I play the Helen Reddy tune today, and folks like that I like. I will sometime. It just from 1982 I've been doing this for years now. Since I come off the road and been online, from about 1982 to 1999. If that's when you made your thing, if that's when you became famous, I missed it unless you were right there where I was, because I was that far off the grid at that time. If I didn't see you live, I wasn't hearing the radio, reading the billboards, or nothing. I was on the road. Is there any particular tune you'd suggest? This is how I'm filling in. I was off the grid from 1982 to 1999. I wasn't really all that plugged into it. I was living in a rural area outside Austin from 1999 to 2014 before I came here and really got plugged in. So I'm just kind of catching up to all sorts of things. The jargon's totally changed. All sorts of new words like spurging. Do you know about spurging? Oh, we got an incoming call. This is my pharmacist, I think. Hello? Hello? Okay, this is fucked up. My phone ringer is off. My fucking ringer. Yeah. Blink One. I totally never heard of them, but I will. What's going on in here? This drives me nuts. The ringer turns its fucking self off. Hello, you just tried to call me?
No.
Okay, must have been the wrong number. Sorry. Yeah, I missed the call completely because I wasn't paying attention to the phone. It's not making noise when it rings. I got to check the ringer. Hello. I'm not sure who I'm talking to. Who? Say again?
Lizzie.
Oh, Lizzie. Hi. I'm streaming right now. Yeah. Just want to let you know we've got a little audience. I can take I can turn the volume down so they can't hear you if you like. I'd rather talk to you than them at the moment. You know Jane Kramer King, don't you? Queen Jane. You know Queen Jane? Well, you know the Deadhead crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, picture the Deadhead crowd. They all hate me and pretended for 5 years. But they didn't. Every last one of them. Randy.
Why are you streaming right now?
Huh? Well, because I was.
Why are you streaming right now?
Oh, I was just like relaxing. No particular reason. I'm just kicked back in my studio, just talking to people that come along and blowing on my instruments and shit, just trying to keep my head from blowing up.
Yeah. It's really fun for streaming is to show people nothing new.
Well, I do that. I do that too. But if you could see what's behind my studio, my workspace is just tossed right now because I got it. I got the building is just so you guys know who I'm talking to. This is like one of my favorite people in town. She's like, this is Lizzie Mead, also known as Lizzie Stardust. Is your nickname? Is that it? She's like the head mermaid and organizer of Tucson's Return of the Mermaids, and she was written up last year as Tucson's best jewelry store. And this is Lizzie on the phone, and she's one of my best therapists in town for because she's one of, I have no idea what her orientation is because we don't talk about that. I just know that she's like at least an ally of the LGBT community. And that's all, which is fine. So I can unload about shit like that on her, which is good because I don't have many people I can. So back to Lizzie. Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Huh? Because that's
Hi, everybody.
hi. Oh, she said hi. So you started to say something about some shit that went down. That was you started to say something about some homophobic shit that went down in front of you.
Well, not a lot went down for me. But like, you mean like,
Well, I'm just getting the feeling that I've been so happy about being able to say, no, I'm not a guy, and everybody's like, oh, okay, cool. And nobody like questions it or gives me a hard time or tries to argue about you can't be a woman if you have a penis or any of that shit here. And now I find out that these people think I'm an ugly psycho bitch that nobody believes is really transgender and is a pedophile dog fucker because they believe shit from the internet. And
well, the internet is very impersonal, I think.
it's very what?
We've talked about this before, where the internet can be very impersonal. Like people don't necessarily understand people's tones of voices. That's pretty unmistakable.
Oh yeah, that's a bad problem.
But I don't usually get into it online because I don't know. It doesn't feel like a real conversation.
Well, yeah, and
necessarily really themselves either.
No, it isn't. People
get emboldened.
Right, yeah, I talk about that. Well, because they know that you can't reach through the screen and punch them in the face for saying that shit.
I think in general we're in an emboldened society right now.
Well, thanks to Twitler. Did you see the recruiting crap from his campaign office about Trump Army?
Oh, if you're feeling frisky, sign up for his newsletter.
No, I'm not feeling frisky about any of that shit. My ear, the blood was actually pounding in my ears yesterday. I've never heard that in my life. I've never had. I'm so scared of stroking out if I get too serious with this shit. What did Cornell Wilde say?
While you're not looking, let the AAA transgender right.
Huh?
People are paying attention.
Oh, right. I know.
Attention.
And mining and extraction industries. Well, you should see all the shit they're doing with the extraction industries and behind everybody's back. They just opened up the Atlantic for commercial fishing or something. Some Atlantic sanctuary. Totally eliminated everything from the Clean Air Act. I was like, okay, fuck the Clean Air Act. We're having an epidemic instead, and it's just everybody's too busy to be keeping up with the fucking pollution regulations right now.
We got like a department for that was established.
Well, yeah, and he went immediately fired everybody.
What we're doing right now, and that department was gotten rid of. Save money, probably.
No, I remember when he did it. He's talking about, well, I don't like to have doctors sitting around doing nothing. That I totally remember freaking out over his whole reasoning. Was like, I don't, if we need him, we'll call him. And it's like, you fucking idiot. This is why I buried 6 casinos.
If we still had that department, they would have been calling him and saying, "There's a problem coming. Here's how we should proceed right now before it gets bad."
They knew it was coming. They knew it was coming in October. By October, they knew it was going to happen. They ran.
But we had no channel to.
Right, exactly. All we had in October was whoever the fuck it was the Gates Foundation brought in to, I think it was Johns Hopkins for a computer game in October. That's all we had then. It was just people beholden to the fucking vaccine peddlers. And he fired the whole pandemic team.
Right now. Yeah, like, I'm not open right now, even though, Disney declared the state open or even what have you after a visit from Trump. So, like, Trump came down and said, open the state.
Right.
Get your economy rolling again. Because that's clearly more important than people's lives. So, like, I've got the thing going on where people are like, why aren't you open? People are fucking serious. I'm like, jewelry. You don't need to risk your life for jewelry.
Couple of boutiques.
So I'm like, I'll do a one-on-one appointment with lots of disinfecting, but I'm not just going to open the door.
No, you're right. That's,
going to be turnballs about wearing a mask.
No, that should be standard issue for a good boutique right now. What you're doing is like, yeah, I'm online, whatever you want online. I'll do a showing for you online. I'll make an appointment, come into the store. There's no reason for you to open your store.
In a 320 square foot space, go ahead and open your door. Let 10 people in.
Yeah, right. No, I first thing in March, who the fuck was it? I forget it. One of the downtown boutiques had it in their door. We're closed for, we're only open on appointment only. Appointment by appointment only from here until further notice. Early on, when it first shut down.
I actually closed before. Like I did St. Patrick's Day, and then I closed.
No, I know. I was there. I was kind of planning on, I'm getting ready for the street fair and kind of like bouncing off of walls during St. Patrick's Day weekend, and it all went whoops. There it goes. And then the craft fair went right down behind it. I haven't been downtown since then hardly. I haven't been on 4th Avenue since the protest. How bad's the damage?
I think 8 businesses on 4th Avenue had property damage, and none of them were mad because that's 4th Avenue. It's like, you know what? The change needs to happen, and this is part of the change. So that's just my part in it.
What you said something about nobody. What you said. 8 were damaged, but none of them were what?
No one was mad.
No one was mad.
For me, it's like we're in a very.
So they weren't damaged badly, and everybody just kind of shrugged and took it.
Yeah, well, even more so, it's like if that's what needs to happen, then that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, well, that's because.
Avenue is a very inclusive and welcoming.
Well, that's because 3/4 of you are women owning the stores, and a lot of the men owning stores are queer. That's why.
It's just. I heard someone once say that 4th Avenue was kind of like the island of broken toys.
Broken stores.
We're a bunch of misfits.
Right.
Because we're a bunch of misfits.
Oh shit! How well do you know Maria Siri?
Not well.
But you know her.
Yeah.
And you know the history of her
I don't know.
store and.
What history you're talking about.
Well, she's mainly been a care provider in her home. That's her main thing for many, many years. That she just recently retired because she was getting evicted. And where she got evicted from is right up there in the foothills where they evacuated. So she's like counting her blessings right now for having been moved out of there before it happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a wild world.
Oh God,
really,
it's just.
I'm proud of my neighbors, like how they have stood up and said, we are going to support whatever positive social change there is coming.
Well, that's what's happening.
If we have to clean up some glass in the meantime, don't care.
Pretty much.
Don't care.
I'm calling it. What I'm seeing to me, who's been at this since John Kennedy got shot. I am Antifa. I've been Antifa most of my life. There's no organization. It's just concept.
Yeah,
We've been standing against fascism in our homeland for all these years. And What I saw several years ago was Colin Kaepernick get down on his knee and get everybody thinking this could be me. And then 3 of them right in a row, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and then we watched for 8 minutes and 54 seconds a white nationalist grin on camera while he crushed the life out of a man begging for his life.
Yeah.
Now that removed all doubt. And I feel like, you know, a lot of people
protesting, you know, and people are like, I'm for peaceful protesting, but this is outrageous, right? Well, the problem is that when people were peacefully protesting and trying to get heard, in the most peaceful of ways, taking a knee during a sports game, people bitched up, down, right, and left and tried to erase that voice. And when you do not let someone have a voice,
they get pissed.
You get what you get, and you like it. You know, like, this is the price of not giving.
Well, I haven't been watching close since it really blew up hard because I just couldn't take it because, you know, my family, did I tell you what I was doing when it blew up yet? My father and I were both watching it together, and he's all of a sudden he said, "Oh my God, Madison's on fire." Which meant that my niece was on duty with a dog that was way too old to be doing bite work at a riot. So she's like hanging back as much as she can, you know, hoping that she's not going to get ordered to do anything, shaking her head the whole time, watching State Street get trashed by a bunch of skateboard punks. That wasn't the protesters. It wasn't the protesters here. I saw it on.
Oh no, you have people that infiltrate. You know, they're. Okay, so there's always going to be somebody who's like, really, let's fuck some shit up.
Oh, yeah.
They have nothing to do with the movement, and they have nothing to do.
It's opportunism.
You know, they don't have strong feelings about it.
They tore up. They have
the opposite feelings. They're like, ooh, let's go do some shit, and then the movement will get blamed for it. We can discredit the movement.
Right. Yeah. Well, it was just looters in Fairfax who took advantage of the fact that the cops are distracted elsewhere. Out in LA. And in Minnesota, I was seeing film of them. They were catching the protesters, you know, the Occupy guys with the cameras out there. That's Gil Scott Heron. That's where he was wrong. The revolution wasn't going to be televised, so it was going to be streamed. And so the protesters were out there, and they were catching the white guys in black balaclava, building, you know, I've seen the videos. They were building the barricades out of pallets and grocery carts and then setting them on fire. Now, excuse me, the rioters are not going to blow up. They burnt to the ground the precinct. They burnt a brand new shopping center and a brand new affordable housing complex. That was not the protesters that did that.
Yeah. And if you watch, not media live streams, but if you watch the people who are live streaming the protests, you can clearly see that most of the time that didn't look like black folks doing shit.
No, it was white folks doing, you know, it was mixed.
They incite.
Yeah,
let's fuck shit up.
Yeah, I saw. Well, that, you know, that was part of the plan. I suspect that what Chauvin did was prearranged as a signal for them to do that. And even if it wasn't, they took it as a call to arms every fucking where. The other day, they caught, like, they're shooting up police stations. They shot a deputy, I think it was in Santa Cruz County, and somebody got him with a baseball bat before he shot another one. The FBI broke up something in Las Vegas before they did anything. They had all kinds of booby traps and Molotov cocktails and shit. And then there was another one in California, but I don't remember the details of that, where a deputy got shot and then they captured the guy or killed him. And that's what's going to, you know, if you're reading, and so, you know, if you're out there reading and not getting into conversations, Google Boogaloo or Boogaloo Boys, Identity Europa, Proud Boys. There's several of them, and those guys are the ones out there doing the violence, or organized violence.
we've had cowboys in Utah before too. They're nuts.
Oh yeah, those are the guys. The Boogaloo Boys are really nuts. Those are the guys out there in Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah.
And then you got the Patriots. You know, the fucking Bundy crowd. All them kind of people are the ones doing the violence, or it's opportunistic shit from punk kids.
Yeah.
But the organized protests, I watched one in the Bronx. Oh God.
The big takeaway for me is that we had made strides for equality while Obama was in office.
Oh God, yeah.
Great strides for equality were made, and they've opened the can of equality, and people are not going to go back.
No.
And they're not going to accept that. Okay, we were making strides, and now you want us to go backwards? No.
Yeah, they cheered for me.
Forward.
They cheered for me at the school board hearings when I said that. I said, no, we can't go back. We won't go back. And I said, we can't go back. And when I
as one of my friends says, the clear's out of the closet, and you're not going to put him back in the closet.
Right. You know, the kids, when I finished talking, they started chanting, we won't go back.
Yeah.
You know, we're queer, and we're here, and we're queer, and they're not going to make us go away. Plain and simple. You got to kill us.
Yeah.
You got to kill us to make us go away. We're calling it what it is. It's fucking genocide. It's been going on for years. And we're just, it's not, it's, Black Lives Matter, but no life matters any more than any other. More whites are killed, more poor whites are killed by the police than blacks, total, because there's more of us. And then there's more natives killed, brutalized, and murdered per capita.
We can't go down the all lives matter route.
Well, no, I'm saying no life matters more. No, all life matters was weaponized. I'm saying no life matters more.
Yeah. Well, it's like no lives matter until we care about everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's where the rainbow hippie has been.
Head to head with exclusionary punishments.
I'm a first Lizzie, I'm first generation rainbow hippie. I'm first generation rainbow hippie, and you're second. Like I said, I have no idea what your sexuality is because it never was important to either of us, right? And you never told me, I never asked. But I know you're a rainbow hippie. You're second generation rainbow hippie straight up. They call you an ally these days, girl. Right. You're an ally, and you've always been an ally because you're a rainbow hippie. Everything is good. Everybody gets judged on their behavior, not on how they look or dress. That's just, the hippies have been right about this shit all along.
Yeah, second generation rainbow is kind of like, why would I judge anyone based on something so superficial as their skin color or their sexual orientation or any of that? Well, there's plenty of good reasons to just judge people on their normal assholitis. So if somebody's an asshole, they're an asshole.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
You know what? My sister and I, my relationship with my sister has gotten restored through all of this. And we always, from the time we were kids, we talked about people whether they were mean or kind. That's a nice person, that's a mean person. This is someone I like, this is someone, fuck him. It's just the way it's, do I feel comfortable near you? Are you interesting to listen to, or are you an idiot that I want to get the fuck away from?
My phone is going to die.
Okay, well, I'll let you go.
I only got 3%.
You only got 3%. I'm at my desk, so I can plug my phone in when it gets weak. I've got this wonderful little cubicle. You got to come by. Let me make lunch for you sometime or something. I have an extra respirator if you're worried about COVID.
I'm thinking about, I'm going to go camping. I was thinking about getting tested before I go camping with some friends.
Oh, shit. Can I come?
Social distance camping.
Can I come, please?
If they're just, I'll just tag along.
Well, keep me in mind. I got nobody to get me out of town right now.
Yeah.
Ari's on the East Coast, and she don't even have a car when she's here anymore because hers died. And she only has a car when she's home because she can use her dad's extra car. and then our gay guy friend is just way too like out there, where I can't count on him and on for much of anything ever. The guy I had a lobster dinner with him. They gave me double food stamps. I didn't know what to spend. I got $180 right now in food stamps. I don't know what to spend it on. Let me buy. Let me splurge and get you some of your favorite food and cook it for you.
You should get some fancy food.
Well, yeah, but I don't know what. I haven't been buying meat for years because I can't stand even the thought of eating factory farm meat.
No, I don't need to do that.
You know, I eat seafood still and dairy, but I can't stand the thought of.
I do eat some fish. I like salmon.
Well,
Mostly it's like good vegetables. It's like a total treat.
I've been canning a lot and using like pickles and peppers and things for snacks. Yeah, and it's nice to put up a couple of jars full of shit that'll last a couple of weeks instead of just like eating it, and what but you got, when you live alone, you got to be real careful about buying produce, or the shit rots, especially if you're like mentally unstable and prone to like going into depression where you don't eat right, and the shit ends up rotting.
And it's like buying flowers. You just watch it.
Right. On that note, the one person here, I got a new subscriber named Frog Spawn that's been asking me questions. So I'm gonna let you go because he loves pickles.
Okay.
Happy day.
There's a pickle fan club on Facebook too. It's also Happy Pickle Day.
I'll have to join it because I have this amazing recipe from my mother that they make. It takes them 2 weeks to make these pickles. It's such a complex recipe. It's a sweet pickle, like a bread and butter, but it's got to taste like no other.
Yeah, I think it's called I Love Pickles or something. I don't know.
I love pickles. I'll check it out.
It's just like the flame-free zone. It's just about pickles.
Right. I'll check it out. Well, I'm hoping next weekend to be like in the Happy Acres.
Yeah.
For some R&R.
Well, you have a good one. Good luck with the rest of your stream.
Thanks, and enjoy your camping trip. Thanks for calling. Happy day. Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. Lizzie's a real sweetheart. She's second generation rainbow hippie. She was raised by hippies in Tucson. And, it's about love, all, hate none, and peace, love, unity, and respect. If you don't agree with their lifestyles, leave it alone. Don't getting angry at somebody. Oh, she's a sweetheart. Here, let me give you her link so you can look at her Instagram and check her out. She owns a jewelry store called Silver Sea, and she's a big girl. She's well over 6 foot, and I got long hair that she dyes rainbow colored. Let's see if I can find it quickly. Well, let's look in the search window. It should come up because she's there. It is first thing. Just here you go. Here's her link. She got a picture of herself from behind, so you can see her hair. That's Lizzie Stardust, jewelry designer and curator of Silver Sea, brings you treasures from around the world in your own backyard. And she organizes every year a festival here in the middle of the summer when it's just awful hot, called Return of the Mermaids. That's a lot of fun. Everybody dresses up like mermaids and mermen and Poseidon and all sorts of happy shit and have a party in the street. Well, she isn't that kind of nice. And she, she's an older woman and she's got her friends but definitely she's out there selling jewelry. She's not out, she doesn't, if you were listening, she doesn't get involved in the conversation at all. At all. You want to buy jewelry, talk about jewelry, sure. but to have a conversation like we just had, you ain't gonna get there. No way. We're neighbors. We're fellow artists in Tucson. and she just doesn't she don't have nothing to do with the internet conversation at all. That's just it's to her it's artificial sounding to her. Let's see what's going on here. Have to approve a post. Maria mentioned me. I saw that. Somebody talked to me, or did she just? This is a new funny thing I said. Spill of brain gas through my fingers. I usually call it brain farts when I'm typing. Let's see what she wants to post in my group. We make America better. You know it. You know it. Happy Pride. You, dude, you're getting declined and removed. Well, I'll tell you what. You know, I grew up in the neighborhood. And it really wasn't the neighborhood, it was the integrated hood. It was the only actual melting pot neighborhood in Chicago. It was Lakeview Township, which was annexed in 1917. It was just north of downtown. It was the only place in town where everybody could live together in peace, peacefully coexist. That was what in the 60s, it was about peaceful coexistence. And you know, celebrate the diversity. Everybody celebrated each other's holidays together. We went to each other's churches and synagogues, and you know, it was integrated. Our neighborhood was the only place where mixed race couples could even live, because the white neighborhoods and the black neighborhoods wouldn't have them. About the only place that Jews could live right up next to Italians, and you know, a Jewish synagogue up next to a Catholic church. It's about the only place in Chicago you could do that. It was the only place. Well, no, Chicago has several. There were three main areas where Latin people lived. Our neighborhood, Humboldt Park, around North Avenue. I think it's Western or Damon, and then. Like I think it's Blue Island out there. There's an Angle Street that runs through there on the near south side. 18th Street is where the third barrio was. And ours, you know, it wasn't all Mexicans by any stretch. There was the Mexicans and Puerto Ricans would have gang fights with each other. The Latin Kings and the Latin Eagles. I think the Kings were the Puerto Ricans and the Eagles were the Mexicans. No, the Eagles were the Mexicans. The Kings were the Mexicans, because that's the one I slugged, was the leader of the Kings. He was a Mexican. And the Eagles were the Puerto Ricans, and then the white guys had the Jokers, and there was the Thorndale Jagoffs too, a little further north, the white guys. But it's about celebrating diversity. It's about embracing otherness with love and acceptance rather than pushing it away if you're in loathing. And that's what we're seeing now all over America, where some people, you know, you look at the protests, that the actual demonstration, you know, a demonstration and a riot are two different things. And the organizers of demonstrations have for many, many years worked with law enforcement to prevent these demonstrations from becoming riots. And, you know, here in Tucson, you know, we were talking, you know, Lizzie and I were talking about it, is that, you know, it's in college towns, it's real common for there to be frequent nonviolent demonstrations, because that's what Americans are supposed to do, is get out together and discuss their grievances, and you know, find, you know, the the reason for not rioting is because the public assembly is where the public comes up with what they want the legislators and the courts to do. And then they have to be totally be on their best behavior to convince the legislators and the courts to do it. This is why we don't riot in the streets. We try to just have speakers who are discussing what's going on, talking about what's wrong, what we want to do about it, how, but the crafting of legislation and the change comes from in the courtrooms and the legislative chambers. It's not, no change comes from violence in the streets. And really from, my vantage point, the only armed insurrection that brought about change for the good in my lifetime was in Cuba. They have it much better off than they did under Batista and the fascists. Because the reason that Cuba succeeded was that the Castro brothers weren't greedy. This is why socialists, it's the same reason that capitalist democracy deteriorates, is that there's always somebody too greedy. But the Castros weren't too greedy, and Cuba has one of the highest standards of living right now. Excellent medical care. They're exporting their medical care in support of COVID all over the world. And there's the United States, this supposed technological giant. Well, let's see where we're at today. We're spiking hard. We didn't have a spike here. We haven't had this first wave. We are not out of the first wave. It hasn't even peaked in some places. In Tucson, it's just been a steadily slow growth. Let me check the Pima stats first. And we're only up to 223 deaths here in Tucson and not quite 4,000 cases. And I think about 10 days ago, it was like about 180 and 2,500 cases. So we're not spiking here. We haven't spiked here, but there was a spike statewide because of Coconino County. And probably, what's Coconino's Flagstaff. What the fuck ever county Phoenix is in spiked real bad. Flag probably spiked real bad. It's been, I think that county's up north where the Navajo res is, and they're in real bad shape. And that's not their fault at all. It's a fucking food desert, and people have all these deteriorating diseases because of that. Stuck in a food desert with no medical care around them, so they're dying like real bad up there. And the tourist areas opening up, dumbass motherfuckers are spiking. But here in Tucson, we never really shut all the way down. The stores are doing like Lizzie, where they went online. The small stores, they went online and been selling online and doing one-on-one appointments in the store. They're not opening their doors to a crowd, which is makes sense. The bigger stores are limiting the capacity, limiting the number of people inside and making them stand apart. And they haven't put in a mask ordinance yet, but they should probably. Not enough people are wearing masks. I was in the bank yesterday, and I tried to take some money out of the teller machine, but I goofed and tried to take I tried to take it from my savings account. And I couldn't do that with the debit card in there. You need a credit card in there for that. And so I had to go inside the bank, but they only have 3 windows inside the bank, and because of the regulations that they're having to follow, they could only have 2 windows open. So they could only have two people in the bank at the same time. And if they didn't recognize you, you needed to have an ID and a good reason for being there. They knew me and let me right in. What else about so Tucson? We have not had significant amount of violence at any of our demonstrations. Our buses are running for free to protect the drivers. Everybody's getting on the back. The parks aren't really shut down completely, and people are using them. The theaters are all still closed. But that was the only thing that really closed down was the places where large number of people gathered in close quarters. Anything else was allowed to keep, the restaurant dining rooms all had to close down, but they stayed open. with carryout and delivery. The fast food places were all, they'd have people waiting out in front. They take the order at the door and people bring it out to the people waiting at the curb. Or the drive-throughs that we have just lines through them all day long. Let's see, any questions up here? I'm kind of rambling on stuff I don't really want to ramble about. Oh, we have someone new. Do I feel like there's some kind of energy in crystals? Well, this is what I do for a living. Oh, well, I'll get to you in a minute, Monsieur Claw. As for crystal energy, my position is that every living thing, every whether it's animate or inanimate, the energy for its life comes from the sun and the universal life force, whatever it is, which is what we'll deal with Mr. Claw. I'll get to that too. It's just one of my pet rat. It's my pet rat. It all comes from the sun and the universe. Whatever the force of the stars and the star closest to us is what makes everything alive. Our life, we're organized. What do they call it? It's a binomial nomenclature of the classification of the various life forms on the planet and how they relate to each other in the planet. And you have the animal, plant, mineral kingdoms and the micro organism kingdoms. But not familiar with that one. I don't know Hammond. I trained in, I'm native Romanian on my father's side, and trained with an Israeli, IDF instructor in high school in Krav Maga. I said, Lord, my sensei, I said, I close my eyes and just, I'm empath, and I'm like, okay, what do I have to protect myself from? And Krav Maga is all about escaping from people, getting away from large crowds trying to hurt you. It's what we trained was 3-step katas, block, parry, thrust, and just keep moving. Block, parry, thrust, anything near you, and because that's what we trained in was riot situations, and it was all about hurt them in one shot and keep moving. Okay, well, my own spiritual path is Kabbalistic. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. My family, I claim, my mother is, her family is genuine Kohen. We've never been to, the gene is there, I'm sure, but we've never been tested on that. And my father's grandfather was the only survivor of an orphan. He was an orphan by a pogrom in Romania in the 1880s. And he never knew because he was too young. But over the years, spirits told me that he was descendant of Gershom. He was Moses' son. My ancestors we were the ones that wrote the books. And we were the ones that bugged out of the fight when it was getting really shitty and came back to the battlefield after it was over. We had to protect the scrolls more than any people. That's what my people were always about. We were the builders. We were the healers. The priests, the healers, the builders is what my family was always about. And we still are in this century. So we were the ones that always bugged out when to protect the stuff and then come back and clean up the mess, bury the bodies, and go on down the road, is what my family's about. And in the 1880s, when my grandfather was killed in the pogrom, is about when the Rothschilds were establishing their colony in Palestine. They had between 1820 or so and 1880, when the first wave of refugees started coming out of Europe, the Rothschilds had been publishing, publicly speaking about rebuilding Israel, and in newspapers and stuff. the Illuminati is a real thing that started in 1776, and basically what you have is industrial fascism of Christians and Jews. That the Rothschild Morgan cartel, New World Order cartel, has been building since 1776. They were behind they financed the American Revolution. They financed the French Revolution. They've been playing both ends. They were behind, it was all about Rothschild in 1812 with the Canadians. They've been all about right in the middle of every war, playing both ends from the middle, making money off the war toys. That's what they've been about for, you can see their bloody footprints just disappearing into antiquity. All of them. Every last one of them. Every last one of those families, including the Bushes. I traced Bill Gates' family back when they started getting all crazy about the pandemic. Because we've been, everything that Dr. David Martin's saying is just verifying everything people like me and Fred Fradiello have been talking about since 1985. We knew we knew, the hippies have been writing about this shit all along. I'm about chemists, zoologists, climate scientists. I wrote a paper 40 years ago predicting all the climate disasters and the pandemic, because monoculture was inevitably going to lead to this. You can't grow only humans on cemented over wetlands, and then feed them by monoculture of grain and shit in the prairies, and clear cutting the forest so you can graze more cattle. It just doesn't work for very long without. The laws of physics don't allow for it. This has been inevitable. They knew that for 50 years. I don't know. They say that. Let me back up to Monsieur Claw, and just bring it from in the beginning. My revered ancestor Moses wrote down the oral tradition at Sinai as Bereshit bara Elohim. And the word Elohim, the Bereshit bara Elohim is translated in most Bibles as in the beginning, God created heaven and earth. And let me get the current, let me see what they're putting out there now, because the way it was taught to me by my rabbi, Louis Binstock, who was a prominent anti-Zionist. He was one of Elmer Berger's partners when they started. They chartered in 1943, or 42 or so, somewhere in there, the Brits wanted to create a Jewish army. And the CCAR, I think that's Conservative Rabbi Union, jumped up and said, we support that. And Elmer and Louis and their buddies got together and said, no, fuck that. That's like contrary. And have opposed it ever since. They created something called the ACJ, American Council on Judaism. It's been the anti-Zionist voice of the reform movement ever since. But the way Louis taught it was Bereshit bara Elohim means when God began to create. And the way they teach the metaphysics of it is in that moment that God decided to become more than itself, that everything that ever would be, ever is, was, or would be, became in that moment. And the whole universe became in that moment what it would always be, what it has always been and would always be. This is the conundrum, I think. That's the right word here for of infinity. Zero and infinity just don't exist. They're modeling points. They're mathematical modeling points. Reality only approaches zero and approaches infinity. There's always something left. There's never everything that comes from the interaction of matter and energy within this infinite universal system. It's all localized. I think Suarez was talking about bubbles. It's all little bubbles everywhere. Yeah, it's a multiverse of bubbles. And we live in this one particular bubble of rocks spinning around a molten rock that's spinning around a big molten rock. And that's the Milky Way galaxy and the sun system that we live in. Now, what else is out there? we can only speculate because we're only in this one particular bubble universe. So moving along into the next question is, could the ruling families be descended from a pre-human species? Now, the way Spirit's been talking to me lately, well, the way Rabbi Binstock taught it at the dawn of the space age, is that, you know, we're looking at shit like flying chariots and things spitting fire and all that happy shit, and watching sci-fi movies. So that was a real easy connect for us, where, you know, gods like Obi-Wan Kenobi and the devil's Darth Vader. I mean, that was a very, very, very thin allegory in the Star Wars series. So it was no problem for me to see it in the mythology, because the way Dr. Binstock described it is that these were the stories of primitive people observing an advanced civilization among them, is the way Dr. Binstock puts it. And if we focus on they're all over the world. There's all kind of shit all over the world. All the pyramids are on the same meridian. Something's going on from outer space. We are, if you look at the map of the galaxy, we're a very old planet, way out on an outer arm. We're a perfect jump-off point for we're a perfect spot for a hyperspace jump for somebody to come from the center of the galaxy to here and then jump off to another galaxy. This is what this planet has been forever, for billions of years. And what happened is about 10,000 years ago, 12,000 years ago, this Adam and Eve story happened, where Eve got improperly impregnated by a reptilian, is the way it's coming to me. So this is the whole reptilian shit is legit, is that there's a reptilian humanoid species that's sexually dimorphic. And I believe that the humans are hermaphroditic, and that us intersex folks are kind of the remnant of the terrestrial genes in the gene pool that are more pure than these others that are like tainted by, you know, with this reptilian sexual dimorphism and the need for, you know, they're primitive, that they use the combustion energy transfer technologies, where the high civilization of the Earth uses gravity and magnetism to move things, and just extracts, you know, like Tesla is just extracting the free energy from the environment, using it, and just transporting it somewhere. Is what the high civilizations of this planet were about, and that all crashed when Eve got raped, and that's the allegory of the Adam and Eve story and the snake. And the way the Kabbalists teach, you know, the way the Jews teach it to their kids, is that the tree, the apple, the forbidden apple that they ate, was the tree of knowledge of good and evil. That our power of discernment as highly evolved humans have been corrupted, so that we didn't know what was wrong to do, that we were just following our will, and that people started responding to what they call the Yetzer Hara of the Sitra Achra, or the evil inclinations of the other side, and we're doing just worse and worse things, and the planet got quarantined. The planet's surface is quarantined now, and has been for thousands of years. I'm assured they're going to lift the quarantine this year, so get ready. Which was the last thing they told me was, clean up your act, we're on our way. You know, for years and years and years, I'd say, well, like, you know, when are you going to come and keep the promise? And then soon. I said, well, how soon? Be patient. And then in 2016, when the shit really started to flow hard into the fan, when, you know, I call it the nightmare of November 8th. You know, Lizzie was talking about it. You know, we were talking about it with Lizzie. We're queers had won, you know, the progressive people, because Lizzie ain't even queer. She said, I'm straight but not narrow. Right on, Lizzie. You know, I'm gonna have to make a meme out of that. You know, because Lizzie's the ideal ally. You know, she's a heterosexual woman, but she's like way cool with anybody because that you're supposed to be, not caring about the way people are doing anything but behaving. I mean, if they smell bad, okay, fine, because that's really behavior. But other than that, can be, you know, fat shaming, queer shaming, rich person shaming, poor person shaming. We're all one people, and you're either nice, following the golden rule, or you're not. And that's how we need to judge each other, and by no other criteria. And I've lived by that all my life as best I can. So like people either love me a whole lot because I'm confirming things that they'd always thought were true, but were constantly being told weren't true. And you know, so you know, people either love me more than I can handle, or they hate me because I've set up waves of cognitive dissonance in them, and the denial of their own self-loathing, and the belief in lies they've been fed all their life. There's no such thing as black and white in humanity. That nothing's binary about humans except what kind of gametes you make. And that's where it stops. You know, and to determine somebody's gender based on what their sex looks like at birth is destroying the lives of a lot of people. That there need to be two boxes. It's like, okay, this kid's shit looks like a male, and this kid's shit looks like a female, but we got no idea what gender they're going to grow up into. We don't know. I mean, yeah, sure, most of them grow up cis, and straight. I mean, you know, because that's the way the genome works. But there's at least, you know, they're estimating now like 10 to 12% of the people are queer in some way. You know, have some variation. You know, call them intersex body variations, or alternative gender identities, non-conforming gender identities, other than strictly male or strictly female. That will always be the majority, but we're here, we're queer, and we're here, and we're not going away because we had won all this equality. You know, we'd won all these advances. We destroyed so much of the systematic, institutionalized discrimination against us under the Obama administration. There's no way we're going to sit still and let Trump cancel all that. There's no fucking way. He just transferred the protections for healthcare. Never even heard of David Dees. I'm always happy to look at anything. Hit me up in person at Facebook or at Google, you know, Gmail and shit. Here I'm just talking shit, and I might put some stuff in the chatter. But if you have something you want me to look at, send it to me directly at Facebook. I'll try to have all my contact information in the descriptions of the videos from now on. Okay, I'm gonna be streaming more. I'm gonna be selling from here. I'm gonna be playing music from here. I want to light up my horn a little bit. See what I can, you know. I need to blow more than I talk, and I need to like be answering questions more than I ramble. That's what I'm looking for right now. I'm gonna sit and blow on my horn a little bit and let people chit chat and insult my playing, and then come back and answer some questions. That's basically what you're gonna have here. When I get my house in order, when my house is in order. This is the non-combat information center right here. My jewelry finishing table is over there. I've got an extension for the camera. I'll be able to set up a whole second console over there on that side of the room, so that you can see me when I'm working at that table or in the kitchen. Because I'm doing a lot of that. I do a lot of canning and cooking weird things and having fun in the kitchen, being kind of a queer Julia child. And this is my life. You know, this is a window into my life. That's what these streams are about. This is just where I talk to the camera and anybody who wants to ask me questions. I want to give a shout out to Lulu at AMB and give her a little ass pat for driving Dee Price nuts, but that doesn't help me any because she just spurts on me. And you know, if you're into some good laughs, you know, definitely, I highly recommend AMB. If you're into really gross, perverted viewpoints, AMB is your place. But watch your pocket. They're not honest men, and they will scam you for whatever they can get out of you. But please, save me the trouble of looking them up and send me something at Gmail, okay? I'm interested because I've always avoided the Illuminati and studying it real deep. I'm looking past that. I'm looking all the way back and bringing it to here now. And according to some authors that I've talked to about it, is they think that same bloodlines have been added since Hiram and Cyrus and Nimrod and all that. It's the same people doing it. Buckminster Fuller, in Operating Manual for Spaceship Earth, called them the Great Pirates. That they were the guys that were running the sea lanes and the overland trade routes, and they'd have puppet governments on either end, and play both ends in the middle from when it was time to have a war. And then you know, go listen to Smedley Butler. Hardly anything's fucking changed in 5,000 years. Hello, Neon Goblin. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming. Me's not quite got it. Breaking a little bit up top. It couldn't get, yeah. I tried to get way the fucking big jump before it was even a little bit. Yeah, I don't know if you know what you're listening to, but I was just warming up the horn. I wasn't playing anything. I was just running around and not feeling keep. And I tried to make a jump from the high A to the high E, and that just didn't happen right from the gate. But it got all the way up. If you know what you're listening to, it got all the way up to the F and all the way down to the B. I never go running off with the mouth like a lot of saxophone players do and like impress people with a lot of notes and shit. I try to impress people with my intonation and my articulation and my syncopation. And instead of playing like these like incomprehensible licks, I like to play shorter licks off each other. And it serves me well. You know, I'm getting out there on the street with it and just play to the rhythm of the street. And by the time people come past me, they don't even hardly slow down sometimes. They'll just reach in their pocket and want to dance right by and drop some money in the case. I probably next. I think I'm going to go check in on the idiots because I'm sure that some of them are here and not saying anything. Um, That's too hot in here. This is way too hot in here for me to get down today. No way am I getting down in this with my air conditioner turned off. I've been sitting here on fan only, and it's just too hot for me to do it right now. Let me tell you, and I'm sitting down. I don't like to really get down on it unless I'm standing. It just never works for me. So as long as I'm not doing anything right now, let's take a look at David Dees, what he's about. I'm probably going to get up and take a pee. He's an artiste, world politics, chemtrails, and 5G changer. But they killed him, you're saying? Oh, yeah, they just killed him. Oh, my God. Wow. How did he die? This just happened. It says nothing about why he died. Where's caused death here? Boy, there's nothing. Says nothing. Here's a Dignity Memorial obituary from Medford, Oregon, and it just says passed away May 31st, 2020. I need to pee. This is okay. Well, here's a did they drive him to suicide? There's one that says David Dees is nuts. You gotta be fucking nuts to keep him going insane in this society, especially if you know what's I'm looking at some of the artwork, and if you've got that kind of vision, man, you've been eating fucking psychedelics. Boy, I had a dose one time. I'm driving a whole mess of kids up from Minneapolis to the Minnesota gathering, and I didn't know, this is just something about the way the conversation was going. And I looked over at one of them, the guy riding the shotgun seat, and all of a sudden his face started to melt into blood. You see the skin just melt away and leave eyeball. I just get, oh boy, couldn't look at any of them. I'm just seeing people's faces melt. Aye. See, if I use my space heater and fans in the summer and the winter instead of the central, I keep my bill is around $75. If I just got wiped out last winter because my space heater crapped out, and I was using this $125 heat place with the central, where all I really did was under my desk to keep my feet from getting cold. I probably am getting pretty close to siesta time. Here's the current weed and the last cigarette. It's a little too short to relight, so we'll make a new one of those. I'm pretty much, I'm addicted to this. That's what the addiction is. I'm addicted to this. I can do without weed if I'm not under too much stress. I can do without tobacco without jonesing too badly if I'm forced. This is what I end up craving. Is I'm used to this. I'm typing with one in my hand or talking, waving one around, and that's what I need to work on breaking. I don't know how I'm going to do that. So I'm just go all George Burns and just never light it. I suppose. I don't know. But I'm feeling like I want. It's not a need. It's a want. I want some tobacco right now. I'm not finding, what did David Dees die from? It's not saying anywhere. Oh, he was a saxophone player too, was he? Well, let's see what it's saying on his Facebook page about him. But this isn't even his personal page. Jeff Rentz has gotten custody of the art. Not saying what he died from. Here's the announcement on June 4th. Doesn't say what he died from. Really fine artists. Some pretty good political art, really powerful stuff here. But it's not saying why he died at all. Let's see what Rentz had to say about him. Here's the tribute. He was a revolutionary political artist of our times. Redefined the entire genre, created his own blah, 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 blah. I want to know why he died. Okay, he died in hospice. He was sick. Something was wrong with him. They didn't kill him. If they thought he was killed, Rentz would have said something. Apparently, he had a degenerative disease. That's what this is looking like, because he's avoiding saying anything about it, and just like this is just total tribute to Dees. But he did mention something about helping him get into hospice, so this is not unexpected. I don't. If there was any question of that, Rentz would have said something. What the impression I got from his tribute, well, no telling. Chavez is. I have no idea what was wrong with him. Just from what I read, it looked like it was something they expected. That Rentz put him in hospice a while ago, and the whole tribute was totally tribute and never said anything about what actually killed him. If there was that kind of supposition about it, I think that Rentz would have said something. Now I'm going to check with him because I never, this is not I'd never heard of them, or I've never even seen that stuff before. It's just, God, there's so much art out there. I got the art I do, I'm real things, and we do what we do. We're queer-centric rock hounds and musicians, mainly, writers. We talk a lot of shit, make jewelry, and play music. That's my group. So there's just no indication. There was no indication in Rentz's. What Iran deal? Was there an Iran deal go down that I missed? Or are you just talking Iran deal in general? War's a racket. Oh, I will. I definitely will. I'm gonna contact Rentz. I'll do a whole little thing on him. I never heard him before, and he's either, I guess, are these guys millennials? I mean, is that like older millennials, people like Rentz and Dees, or are they Gen Xers? Now, I'm so confused about where things start. Like, what are Gen Z? Is that anybody born after 2000, or do the millennials go into 2000s? I'm confused on that. I don't particularly agree. Oh, I'm not really sure what to think about Trump other than the Zionists are pressing his buttons. And it's quite possible that the whole deal is a hostile takeover bid by some rogue element of the Zionists, because everything he's done has been like what Netanyahu wants him to do. Everybody calls him Putin's bitch, but that's not what's happening. The Israelis are running him. People don't understand about the relationship of the Illuminati to the evolution of Zionism. They all think that Herzl's book, his little pamphlet, Der Judenstaat, established political Zionism. Exactly, all of them. Putin, to an extent. I'm not sure what Putin's actual relationship to the Zionists is, whether it's, like one of cooperation or I'm not sure. I don't know. I really don't understand Putin. I don't even want to try. It's, my focus is on the Zionists and their control of the Western governments. And, they just that's what the American Revolution, French Revolution. So I was getting to before I got distracted about Buckminster Fuller's view on it. Was that here were these great pirates that he believed just became extinct when democracy was established, but all they did was build ivory towers and could manipulate everything from Wall Street and trading markets. They were still up there watching everything and making it happen with their agents on the street. They just weren't doing it to themselves. They all graduated up into the big club, and they made this big clubhouse that they're all all Bilderbergers and all that happy heart shit. And it's all Zionist. World War I, World War II, both of them. It was all about the bankers. It was all about breaking up the old empires, turning it into a bunch of manageable church-state fiefdoms. They don't give a fuck about anything but moving the money. They don't care about any of the ideology at all. And that's why the climate's in such bad shape, because they never paid attention to it. All they cared about was the fucking ROI for the investors. And so, like, the infrastructure crumbled. Under Kennedy and Eisenhower, we wouldn't have the highway system if Eisenhower hadn't fought for it. That was his vision when he graduated from West Point. Had to ride, in buggies. He's riding in these primitive automobiles on horse trails across the country from West Point to Fort Ord. He had this vision of a national defense superhighway system. All kind of vision he was trying to. Him and Kennedy both. They wanted to go under the ocean, out to the moon. They wanted to build shit everywhere, instead of blowing it up. And the war toys manufactured, no, DuPont, we got to keep making our explosives. Raytheon and shit. And I was like, hey, this is what we make. We got to kill people. So they used to make wars. This is what Eisenhower was struggling against, was that here he was coming fresh out of West Point early in the 1920s, and the military was not. There wasn't much of an armaments industry then, because they kind of quiet. They just they amped it up some for World War One, but then didn't keep it going. They let it go. They let it slide back down again. So then when World War II came along, they had to go into this war power shit and build up a bunch of stuff, and sell all these Liberty bonds and all this happy other crap. And after the war, they refused to shut it down. Eisenhower's after them to retool, to do all this wonderful stuff with the all these wonderful peacetime projections of American military technology, and the war toys manufacturers said, no, it's not profitable. They couldn't afford to go out to the moon and keep going out to the moon. They're lucky we got what we got. Same thing with Under the Ocean, which we got even less, and that would have been easier to develop. Because Under the Ocean, we haven't got jack shit under the ocean now. They didn't have, they built that thing at the Deepwater Horizon. And the only reason it stayed blown for so long was because it was so deep they didn't have any way to get down there. They didn't have any way to get a human down there and repair it. They left that out of the design plan. And we haven't got jack shit. You got some tourist places where you can rent a hotel room and have fish swimming over your head. That's about it. There's no real commercial activity down there. Nobody's, they're talking about starting to mine the nodules, which isn't real bright. The manganese nodules and shit that end up precipitating out on the ocean floor. They're already tearing up the benthic ecosystems bad enough as it is with their trawl nets, and they want to go down there and take out the nodules through this. And this goes back to Garden of Eden, where the reptilians, they're just like primitive, and they're keeping humans down. And we're seeing it in the streets. The reptilians are breaking windows and shit, and setting stuff on fire. And the humans, the people who are really humans, are coming together in pan-racial assemblies, and the cops are taking a knee with them. All the public officials from unless they're on Hitler's side, everybody from the beat cops on up is condemning what Chauvin did, and is agreeing that we need to change this whole system. It needs to change this whole idea of white supremacy. That's why I'm calling bullshit on Black Lives Matter. It's no life matters more than any other, and to call it Black Lives Matter. I went through the same shit with the American Indian movement too. It's hey man, Americo Vespucci is the incompetent navigator that brought the fuckhead here in the first place. And Indians are in India. You are native indigenous people to this land. I like the Canadian term First Nations, because that's what they were. There were over 500 of them when this started, all with their own distinct language and their own distinct cultures, and they've annihilated it all. There's very little of it left. Well, thank you guys for a pleasant conversation. This has given me some hope for the future, because the trolls have been rough on me for the last few months. It's one of the reasons I haven't been doing much streaming. It's not worth the time, because I'm getting harassed by idiots in the chat. Well, yes. Oh, I haven't read it, but I claim to be somewhat telepathic and empathic and clairvoyant, and I get messages. I get clear vision. I'm an astral traveler. It's called a hypnagogic state. I'll get and I'll see shit, and I'll see shit. And what's been coming to me about the Adam and Eve story is that it was reptilians. I call it trolls. I call them mutant retard spawn of an insane reptilian space war in a bonobo. And that's what apparently went down about 10, 12,000 years ago, is there was an improper mating that corrupted our gene pool. And they quarantined the planet and let us work it out ourselves. And here we are, where most of us have worked it out. And are saying, hey, we can get along. Doesn't matter what you look like. Doesn't matter how you dress. It matters how kind you are. It matters how honest you are. That's what matters. All this other shit is bullshit that keeps us divided against each other. So I want to see if the idiots are talking about this. Let's see what they're saying. Let's go check and see if the Tommy bot has grabbed it yet. Doesn't look like it. Nope. Nope. Oh, yep, they got it. And one person, Bucket, has said something. Let's see what Bucket said. Bucket's the ringleader. And actually, he had to ask the question, but I'm not even going to read it for you. I'm just going to put the horsey in there for him. Okay, let's see if Lulu said anything that I want to respond to. Otherwise, fuck them. Okay, well here's Deep Rice. This is incredible. This person is totally fucking nuts. If you know who David Price is, so like from North Carolina, this person is like, I'm just like, he hates me because what happened is he joined dudes that trust him. And frustrated as fuck, he's one of these perennial pre-ops that could never get it done because he doesn't have the money and he's probably too insane. And they won't do it because he's so fucking nuts. I'm trans, feminine, intersex, AMAB, and I'm under no obligation to act according to anybody's standards of masculinity or femininity. And nobody who knows me in person has any trouble feeling my female self. I'm just a little butch because it just didn't make sense to try and look all femme if I got no hair and I don't want to wear a wig because it's triggering and it's too fucking hot here. I'm a crazy old hippie chick, and which one? I'm Auntie Tommy. And most people don't have any problem with it. I hardly ever get any arguments about my penis because I'm not claiming to be a woman. I'm claiming to be a woman with a penis. And intersex. I'm not a man or a woman. I'm kind of both. I'm proud of it, finally, instead of like afraid of it. And I hardly ever get any shit from anybody but people like her. Because they're trying to convince the world that it's like really okay to go and mutilate themselves and turn their dicks inside out. And most of the rest of us who are transgender, that they're saying are not true transgender because we don't want to go and get our dicks turned inside out. And we're just coping with what we got. I have to, oh, no, that's not mutilation. They really just can't deal with it. And they need to do that so they can feel comfortable in their own skin. Where me, I just beat it more. It's like, okay, go away. And I'm okay. I have a life that's meaningful to me and to a lot of other people. And I'm good with it. Dia's living with his mother and taking care of like his sister's kids or something. I don't know. Or his kids, and he's got custody. I don't know what the fuck is going on there because he's too nuts to figure it out through all this. Here, I have no delusions, moron. I do know that you are delusional. Mr. Space Lizards are coming to vanquish your enemy. Well, this is what they hear because, I just talked about what I know about it and what I think about it. And as far as any, accuracy, I can't make claims. I don't claim that any of my prophecies are come true because I don't know if the higher forces are feeding me bullshit or not. I never know if anything's going to come real until it happens. That's the way they play me, and I just roll with the punches and go with the flow as best I can. So, and I'm trans female. There is decades of medical background on me stating as that much. I'd like to see her psych jacket along with it. I think that's the main reason they've never cut on her, because she's too crazy. There is nothing but talk of fucking kids and dogs. Well, the only one that talks about me talking about fucking kids and dogs is people like her. I don't talk about it, unless they make me. Explain that I don't fuck dogs and I never fucked a kid. Up until Caitlyn Jenner got on TV and informed consent came out, that's what she really resents, is that she can't get. They've probably turned her down because she's too fucking nuts, and she can't get it. Do they need to post that Tom must be in hiding text again? I am sure we'll be glad to refresh your memory. The fact you say shit like stuffs her cock and balls up their ass proves you're not a transsexual female. And I do not talk in a really high falsetto moron. Proving yet again you have no idea about medical science. And speaking of falsetto, it has nothing to do with medical science. By the way, testicles are pushed up inside the tubes they descended from, and the deformity tucked. Well, see, that's where it is, right there. You have to be transsexual to view your genitals as a deformity. Transgender people come to an understanding, or at least ones I know and relate to well, is that, oh, well, here I am with female or masculine inclinations and the wrong stuff. So, like, how am I going to cope with this? Well, I prayed a lot for healing, and since they cut on me when I was little, cutting was never an option because I didn't believe, I was praying for the higher medicine to return and do it right, which is probably with stem cells. And, this is not, it's not a defect. Anybody who thinks of it in terms of a defect is transphobic. Plain and simple, this is internalized transphobia. So let's see what else has she got to say. But what you do not know is once is there, you forgot they are, and you feel a lot more normal not feeling some bulge in your panties, Mr. Dude. Me, I feel more normal when I don't feel the shit at all. That's what I feel. And stuffing crap up inside of me, it hurts. And letting it swing and just beating it senseless, I'm good with. If the throat is cut and the voice box is damaged, it is luck that the subject can even talk at all. Oh, apparently I had a perfectly fine feminine voice until the bigot cut my throat. Didn't do a real good job, I guess. A range of 5 octaves, and it was a bassist and backup singer for a metal band. But all you are is a dog fucking, child raping, untalented moron with the IQ of a sea slug. Wow. Oh, fucking nuts. What's going on here? Have I read Werewolf? No. Have I been paying attention to Chaz? No, I didn't even realize. I mean, is that where the free speech zone is? No cop zone? I didn't even realize that was going on. My whole family, my best friends, I'm here in Tucson. I'm watching, and there's not much to watch here because we've had very low case count. And my grandma Pete, who's my closest old friend, Jenny Kastner, is in Cambridge, Mass, and things are pretty quiet there with her too at Facebook banned her account. So I'm watching Cambridge and Tucson, and up north, my family, Madison, and it wasn't, I'm watching that stuff, and not really. I was so overwhelmed that I haven't been really paying attention to hardly anything except like what I was working on in that moment. And cozy to watch. What is it? Romeo Rose? I don't even know who Romeo Rose is. But I had, please feed me some stuff about that. I just noticed this morning that when something came through apparently the police chief and the mayor at odds over the no cop zone, because they've got a neighborhood that's like no cops, and the mayor's supporting it, and the chief of police is upset about it. So I need to look into that. So you're saying, is that the one? It's called Chaz. Let me get some stuff. So they're declaring themselves autonomous. Yep, they sure have. What does Chaz stand for? Let's see if I can find something good about them. Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. Way to go, kids. This is the spirit of Ben Maisel. That fucking shit is in the spirit of Ben Maisel. Fucking A, go at it, kids. I need to get behind that shit. That's my crowd. That's my people doing that. Benny Maisel was one of he's almost, I think he's 1954. He was born in 1954 in New York somewhere. Was one of Abby's proteges. Abby Hoffman is one of the old yippies, and he settled in the Midwest. And he was like the champion of free speech in the Midwest. We ran together a lot during the 90s. I got busted in Madison the day after the election that he lost for governor. I got shaken down illegally without a warrant, and they ran me through some bullshit over some crap they found inside my motorhome. They wanted to charge me with like felony possession of cocaine because of some residue that was in a vial that I'd actually found in the garbage, and hadn't any cocaine I used in it. What I had was a nice pipe collection that I lost, and about a quarter ounce of mushrooms that I lost, and some shitty weed. But they want to charge me felony possession of cocaine for the vial. They fucking first thing in the morning, I wake up to cops. Assholes. Benny was he was at the gathering. I met him at the gathering in Minnesota for the first time in 1990, and then I ended up with a cat named Bill O'Baggins, who's up from the Seattle area, who was part of the hog farm, Wavy Gravy devotee, right? And I had him riding shotgun out of the gathering, and we went on some adventures together. He's the guy in the Top Hat and Tails, denim and cami Top Hat and Tails. Oh boy. Those were my good years. It was like 89 was my Elvis year. That was the most interesting year of my life. I wouldn't say happiest. I mean, what's really strange is that if it wasn't for all the crazy, my family and I are getting along better than we ever have right now. My cash flow is good. My arts are all strong. I'm getting primo Mexican bud manicured with maybe, for every ounce there might be 2 grams of waste in lumber and seeds. There's almost no seed in any of it. I mean, I hardly ever get a decent seed out of it. Just, once in a while there's one with a big stick. The bigger buds have bigger sticks. But I have good friends like Lizzie, all over the world. And Lizzie's right here in town, so I get hugs out of her. Everything's good in my life, except I got a funny story I haven't told in public yet. So who thinks I'm a ugly psycho bitch that's a fake tranny? Show of hands. Who else? This is how I'm viewed by people that hate me. I'm a ugly psycho bitch, fake tranny, causes trouble wherever I go. Well, causing trouble is just because you just believe lies, and I give you bits of cognitive dissonance every time I open my mouth. That's jealousy. That's intellectual dishonesty. That's what that is. I don't cause trouble. I'm trying to save the world from fascism. I have been for the last 57 and a half years. I've been trying to save the world from itself. I used to wear a Save the Humans button with a whale on it back when I wore buttons. No, I'm not out to. No, I'm not. I'm nonpartisan. I work for the planet. We're doing it all wrong. And I've been saying this all my life. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if it bothers you, but that's what's up. I work for the planet. My family has always worked for the planet, and we're doing it all fucking wrong. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I don't care if you hate me for that. And I don't care if you think I'm an ugly psycho bitch, because I'm totally fucking nuts. And like my friend Cappy said, is if the insult is interesting enough, you're going to get compliment. And I'll even agree with you. So here, oh boy, here's this fucking idiot, total fucking idiot. I want you to see this fucking idiot live in color, because this is failure personified. Buddha Records collapsed on this guy in 1975, and he never dug his way out from underneath it because his lyrics are so sappy, and he's such a smarmy, sexist fuck. That's this guy. I want you to meet Michael Wendroff Valentine, who is just the smarmiest, most sappy. I mean, this guy is worse than fucking Neil Sedaka. I mean, the most just sappiest fucking Andy Kaufman spoof of a nightclub, a piano bar singer. This guy is worse in person. This motherfucker on my birthday had the gall after everybody else had left. He's still there, and we're gonna jam a little maybe. And we're there with my bestie Ariana Sykes, who is much more feminine than me. And one of the reasons our relationship is so strong is that her yin and my yang balance each other both ways. And we're a very, very powerful team, and have done some excellent artwork, and we work shows together, make good money, and that's our relationship. And this is my bestie. This is my best sissy. This is my best trans friend. And Debbie and Jane Casper is my closest cis friend, and I've got a number of other fairly close cis and trans friends. I probably got a good solid dozen people that I would call besties, and then there's at least 50 people that I would call close followers, people that are always interacting with me and sharing stuff at Facebook. At least 50 of them, probably more like 100. That if we looked at it monthly, it's probably more like 100, but weekly, definitely at least 50. And you know, I've got 300 or something. You know, I've got, you know, nice company today, feeding me and talking to me, and, you know, asking me the right questions, drawing good answers out of me. I'm very happy with that. I don't need to be real famous. I don't like playing in a big room. I like playing in a small room. And then these people have me characterized all wrong. I'm very conservative sexually. I'm sapiosexual. You know, I'm fucking your brain more than I'm fucking your because my shit's messed up. So, you know, you have to like turn me on with your mind before my groin's gonna get turned on, because my mind spends so much time suppressing the signal that's coming from there. So, you know, I've always been that way too. I mean, I get an erection, but you got to make it happen. And at this point in my life, I just need some affection. I just need hugs. I need to bury my head in somebody's shoulder. And this guy, this fuckhead, he's in my studio on my birthday, and he decides he's gonna hit on Ariana and be stroking her hair. You know, like Biden grabbed the kid's hair, and the look on her face was just priceless. I mean, it's just like disgust. It's like, what the fuck are you touching me? I didn't ask you to. And while he's talking to her, he's misgendering me in my studio on my birthday with his hands on my best friend without an invitation. He got run off. But then his birthday came along on the 11th. Just the other day, just yesterday was his birthday, or day before yesterday. And tomorrow's Twitler's birthday. I got plans for him. I'm gonna be saying him happy birthday and shit live. But they got me in a box so that only a few people even see me, as the people that are close to me and people who happen to notice and decide to, oh yeah, that's cool. Let's follow that. Otherwise, nobody sees me. So where was I? Oh yeah, Michael Wendroff Valentine. I was grabbing one of his old pieces so you can see how sappy this fucking shit is, and try to imagine 50 years later, still wearing the dust from Buddha Records on them. I have to go and really study. I don't know. There were some important people that were taken down by Buddha and went on, but Michael wasn't one of them. I don't know where he got the Valentine shit from, but this stuff is just fucking sappy. Oh, I better cut it off too before I get it. This is just the sappiest fucking album I've seen in a long time. On the highway. This is his traveling. This is his on the road This is on the road, and this is just a sappy little fucking. We call them trustafarians. Cats like this guy. I don't know where he came from, but it's money because I don't think he's had a gig. I don't know where his money comes from. It's probably coming from a trust account because he's living. I don't know. I don't think he works, and I don't know. I don't want to guess on that, but this guy's a smarmy, sappy, sexist, transphobic pig. So here's his album. I'll give it to you in the chatter so you guys can listen to it. I'll get to that when I finish telling this story, Neon. I'll definitely get to that, but I want to tell this story. So I gotta get it off my chest. I'm tired of typing it. I want to have it on video so that I can give it to somebody. So anyway, I get a notice from Facebook, and he said something, I think, about his birthday coming up on the 11th, maybe about the 8th or 9th. And I reached out to him. I said, okay, look, I'm kind of flush now, and I'd be glad to take you out to dinner. Any place moderately priced on me, and if you wanted to, I'd like to go to Sushi Garden with somebody and go Dutch. And but I need you to treat me the same as you treat your lady friends. No more fist bumps. You gotta give me hugs. You gotta respect my female nature. I'm sorry I don't look right for a female, but my nature is female, and if you can't respect that, I don't want you in my life at all, actually. And what happened was he asked me why, if I was so flush, why Dutch at the Sushi Garden? Well, a moderately priced restaurant is only going to cost me $10, $12 per head at most, where the Sushi Garden was going to cost me $25 without drinks. And I told him, I said, look, man, I don't think I've ever spent $50 on a date that I didn't know. I didn't know in advance that I was going to have a chance at some sex. So I was dating my high school honey for a long time before I spent $50 trying, hoping that she was going to want to do it, finally. But no. I've taken people out that I knew I was going to get laid while I was on the road and spent $50. I had no problem with that. But taking a guy out for his dinner, for a birthday dinner, 73rd birthday, and a fuckhead, what a fuckhead. He says, well, I'm not really 73, it's just I don't like to brag. And he's older. But he's still a sexist, smarmy, sexist idiot with sappy lyrics. So he comes back with oh my God, you're crazy. Because I told him, it's okay, sure, I'll pick it up if you're gonna have me for dessert. And so he's like, oh, you're crazy. And I knew I'd blown him. I knew I blew his mind right there because of what had happened on my birthday here. That okay, this guy's really transphobic as fuck. And because he made, when I pressed him on the, treating me like the other women, it's you're a person to me. I don't, now I gotta have you see me as a woman. I know that. But because of the special nature of me, and my gender nature and the volatility of my male persona, I don't want to go there. I need people to treat me like a woman so that I can act more like a woman and not be defending myself from it. And it works for most people, but it wasn't working for him. And he freaks out, you're fucking crazy. And I come back with, I resemble that remark. And if you keep it up, I'm going to sue you for definition of character. And pressed on, trying to explain to him that, I didn't want to fall in love with him at all. It's just someone, I need a fuck buddy. I need someone to roll around and swat soup. And the more I said, the more freaked out he got by it. Because he's transphobic and fuck. And can't, I don't know why he's sexually attracted to Ari, because she's got one. It doesn't work as well as mine. But she's got one. I shouldn't say that's wrong for me to even reveal that. But, Ari looks feminine enough where he doesn't consider that she's transgender. That's sexy enough for him. He can handle that. But I look much too male to him, and he sees it as fucking a guy. And he's homophobic, and it's just old smarmy, sexist, hippie jerk. Probably from a trust baby. And what finally got him to lose it was I told him, look, man, you don't need to suck me up. No, I'll do you, and all you gotta do, it works just like yours, pretty much, and I'm sure you'll figure it out. And just, I'll do you. And I described, I pointed out my highly developed jaw and tongue for playing saxophone, and told him that he lost it right there. I said, "Fuck you, you psycho bitch, you ugly fucking psycho bitch that nobody believes." Now we're there. We're at the community level where the trolls have been putting the shit into the community, telling them I'm a fake pedophile dog fucker. And I confirmed that with the queen, the alphabet's queen. I'm not going to name no names besides this Michael Dick, just in case there's any people that are mutual friends with any of these assholes that are still any kind of friend. Most of them were just either blocking me without a word or ignoring it completely, not even looking at it, which is okay. It's okay. I don't care. I always liked myself. So if I'm all alone here in Tucson, I've got friends and family everywhere else, and I can entertain myself. I've got a lot of respect on the street with my instruments and my artwork, my stonework. I don't need anybody for friends in the Tucson. They destroyed my credibility in Saga. That's pretty stupid to be getting up on you about it. And they destroyed my position in the hippie community. And it's like, okay, fine. I'm what I am. I do what I do, and I'm good at it. And I'm happy with myself, and my family's happy with me, and I got good friends. Enough said. So I'm going to move on back to Neon. Well, there's a conflict between the mayor and the police chief. She's supporting their right to do it. And the chief isn't really he's just upset because apparently, they can't get emergency equipment and shit in there because they're not letting anything in, which is kind of stupid. So I want to take a closer look at that right now. Let's look at that shit. Let's see if I can find something. Here's something on Fox. Seattle Police Chief and Mayor at loggerheads over handling of George Floyd protests. I saw that story earlier. That's been out there for a while. Fox is digitally altering images. Yeah, Fox has been twisting the images. What's going on? I don't even know what to look at here. Here's one. What's going on in Chaz from yesterday? It's an acronym for Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, an area of about 6 blocks ceded to protesters. This looks like the story to read. What's EDMDJ? One of the Trolls and Trolls 2 Trolls World Tour. What this is a bunch of kids. Do they have any adults in there, charismatic leaders? Or is this a totally anarchist thing that's consensus-based with no leaders? So that's a big difference. A huge difference. Do they have a charismatic leader? Or is it just a bunch of rainbow hippies, kind of, punks? There's going to be a huge difference there. I know somebody up there, but I don't think he's like getting anywhere near that shit. Don't want to get anywhere near that shit. He's staying out in the burbs. I don't see. It's a no cop co-op with free food, vegan pizza, LaCroix, hot dog and stand, not free, medical center. Yeah, well, what kind of medical center? Mutual aid book, stable guardian. It's a gathering. It's Occupy over 6 blocks. Well, here's what's going on. I can't. I'm too tired. I don't want to read this shit. You guys know what's going on. Let me see if there's anything important that needs to be said. It looks like okay. A Seattle firm by the name of Perkins and Coy, ACLU, Seattle University School of Law, filed a lawsuit against the city on behalf of Black Lives Matter Seattle, King County, and others. On an almost nightly basis, SPD has indiscriminately used excessive force, blah, 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 which they've done. They're trying to get injunction against them from using the tear gas and pepper spray and shit, and I think they got it. Here's what the chief is saying. Carmen Best announced a decreasing footprint around the East Precinct at 11th Avenue and East Pine, which had become a flashpoint of clashes between protesters and police. Protesters have requested it. They want the streets open for peaceful marches, and we're going to facilitate that opportunity for them. This is an exercise in trust and de-escalation. Law enforcement boarded up windows in the precinct and were seen removing items from the building. Once they were gone, protesters moved in on Pine and set up camp, reversing barricades in order to create a protected zone of about 6 blocks. So they kind of occupying the local precinct. And I'm not seeing any signs of charismatic leadership. This is an assembly kind of thing, I think. It doesn't look like there's any leader. Nobody's claiming leadership. The news isn't talking about leadership, just people in there making protesters. They have 30 demands that they've listed on Medium. Let's see what the demands are. And it's by a group. It's not individual. It's a Free Capitol Hill is the account. The demands of collective Black voices at Free Capitol Hill. See, I got a problem with the black and white thing. Big problems with it. We struggled a lot from the end of the Korean War to the end of the Vietnam War, and teaching people how to get along with people that weren't the same color as them, that weren't in the same economic class as them, that weren't they were different, othering. It was about love all, hate none, peace, love, unity, and respect. This is the old school position of the rainbow people of all, there are variations on it, the Black Liberation Pope and Dr. King and the non-violent people like Philip Randolph, Bayard Rustin. Dr. King wasn't all that non-violent. It was Bayard Rustin that kind of calmed him down. And Malcolm and the Panthers and Stokely Carmichael and them weren't violent either. They just were like, okay, if we got to meet force with force, we will. But we have to forcefully make our case. But Hampton's talking about fighting racism with unity, and the BLM is exclusive. You're either a white person who's properly shamed into submission, or you're a racist. There's no voice. They're trying to silence the voice of white people now, and that's no good either. That's what Fred Hampton was warning about. He also said that black capitalism wasn't the answer, which is what BLM is doing, is black capitalism, and that it's it's a unified struggle. It's a class struggle. It's not a race struggle. Never was. Race is all bullshit. It's a class struggle, and they've used skin color and culture. That Muslim is horrible, or Jews, and they use that to set us against each other when it's really all about, are you kind or are you a fucking murderous and piece of shit? And it has nothing to do with class or race or anything else. It's all something in your heart, in your instincts. Are you willing to kill for what you want, or do you know better? And that gets us back to the reptilian thinking. It's all hindbrain thinking is what we're looking at. The humans are a balanced thinking. The females on one side, the males on the other. it's not specifically, they've never been, it's kind of, female dominates one side and male dominates the other side, and it comes together in our behaviors in varying degrees of how masculine or how feminine you are. I'm actually inside myself would much rather be able to express in a more, feminine appearing way, so that I wasn't taken for a man so much, and people communicate with me that way and listen to me the same way they don't listen to women, rather than the same way they don't listen to men. They get violent with men and rude, they ridicule men, and women they just kind of insult and tell them to sit down and shut up and keep smiling and put on a little perfume and show off my tits or something. That's easier to shake than like character assassination. Running around the world telling everybody I'm a pedophile dog fucker. If I was a woman, they wouldn't be doing that in their eyes. So it looked, I see no signs of a charismatic leader. They want to abolish the court system and the police department. Actually, the Minnesota Council has gone and voted to disband it. They demand the use of our armed force be banned entirely. Demand an end to the school-to-prison pipeline. Demand that not the city government nor the state government, but the federal government launch. Good luck with that. Federal government launches. We need to take our federal government back first, kids. So this is a group of a POC, probably mostly. See, this is a problem too. Is that there's a lot of homophobia and transphobia in the black community. This is a real huge problem for us queers getting behind BLM. There was a black transgender woman in Minneapolis that got mobbed by blacks and had to fight her way out of it. There was just another black woman killed, and this one somehow, I'm not, she had blunt trauma all over her head, but her legs were cut off by a train, and then the whole mess was dumped in a river. Philadelphia, Pittsburgh was, one or the other. And this is being done by black men. So don't talk to me about racism you perceive in me just because I'm white, when I'm perceiving homophobia and transphobia in you because there's so much misogyny, sexism, and brutal murders of my siblings in your community by black men. Here in Tucson, there are two black men that call themselves hippies that couldn't see me as female enough, and they refused. They felt they were put upon for me to demand, which I really don't do. I request, and then I just avoid people that won't. That they relate to me as female. There was just too much of an imposition on them, and they had to say something about it. And then when I get a little upset about the motherfuckers like, you need some anger management, now all I'm thinking is like, man, if I needed anger management, I would have just smashed your face into the steering wheel. And I got out, because he's just making me angry, more and more angry every time. Every time he's making an excuse about why it's okay for him to not comply with my wishes. Because fuck that shit. That's not being a kind human. That's being a self-centered asshole. Man, retrial, demand. Yeah, this is all me. Me. I get behind the marijuana fence. Yeah, this is prison. They're demanding prison reform mainly. I don't blame them. This is mostly a black group. We got a lot of demands. Degentrification of Seattle, starting with rent control, city funding for arts and culture. Yeah, this is basic. These are basics that the hippies have been wanting forever. Occupy tried to get across to everybody. This is the old shit. But I don't think we need to reform the police departments. I mean, abolish police. You need to abolish a certain kind of that militant policing. And get cops back to what they're supposed to be doing. It's keeping the peace and directing traffic. But they're so busy fucking writing tickets and enforcing drug laws and defending the man from poor people that they've deteriorated into mercenary armies for corporations. That has to stop. I'm perfectly happy with the police department as it was, the Chicago Police Department when I was growing up. Captain John Fahey was a friend of our families, was officer friendly. Man, in our precinct, if you were on the street drunk, as long as you weren't too disorderly, they were going to throw you in the back of the car and take you home. And you know, they're our friend. They watch out for us. And the Tucson police are my friend. They watch out for me on the street. I'm a street artist. They chat me up all the time. Some have bought stuff and dropped money in my case. I'm on a first name basis with a bunch of them. You know, all cops are not bastards. I got three in my family. Don't tell me that all cops are bastards. The system as it's become corrupted is fucked up. Yeah, sure. But don't tell me all cops are bastards, and don't tell me that police departments need to disappear. They need to be reformed, like everything else that the Nazis have corrupted since they killed John Kennedy. And it was corrupted before they killed John Kennedy because the whole thing's been corrupted from the gate. That the Constitution is rigged in favor of rich white guys. That's got to stop. We cannot be ruled by grumpy old white men. This November election is a joke. You know, you got a septuagenarian pedophilic sociopath on one side, and on the other side you got a septuagenarian pedophilic corporate shill. I mean, like, what kind of fucking choice is that? At least Biden's going to stop the queer genocide. So I have to vote for Biden, and I have to say, hey, shut the fuck up. These people want to kill me. So that's the only consideration here for anybody who identifies as LGBT or ally, is that we got to just fucking choke on Biden and vote for the fucker. I mean, there's just no choice here for us. So anybody got any cool comments for me? I'm really enjoying your company here today, guys. Hey, Militant. Yeah, in support or to break them up, brah. You know, man, HA saved my life several times out in California. I was about to get stabbed just for fun when Three Finger Larry and his partner come around the corner. Larry was the president of the local chapter, and I'm coming out of Tom's hot dog stand. Tom's number 5 or something. It's on the corner of Windward and Main Street. Oh fuck no! That's too bad. That's not going to happen. That's all black people. And HA's going to go in there and try and fuck it up? Nah. That don't sound like HA. Where'd you hear that? Yeah, I'd need to see a link, see something real. I'd need to see something real on that one, man. Or even repeat it. why my phone isn't ringing. Hello.
Hello,
Yeah.
my name is Tim Phillips, and I was calling in to actually ask you a question.
Well, shoot.
Okay, have you ever heard the song called Sloppy?
No.
It's a Devo song, and it's called Sloppy, and in parentheses it says, I saw my baby getting, and then, yeah,
I don't know. What's the relevance to the discussion today?
what was the discussion? I forgot, I'm sorry.
Well, what did you want to talk to about Sloppy? I've never heard about it, but you obviously have something on your mind you want to talk to me about?
Well, that was it, I think, because I just,
Well, I don't understand what Sloppy is about.
it's, well, in the song, his lady buys a brand new car, and then it didn't get her very far, and then so she crashed it, and then he says, she said sloppy, she said sloppy, she said sloppy, I think I missed the whole ride home.
So, and how does this relate to me?
Well, I don't know.
Right. Okay, well, thanks for your question. I have no idea what it's about. Bye. So anyway, back to what we were talking about. I'm sharing the page where with the link to Rentz's tribute. I think I may go for some lunch soon and grab. God, that was so good. I had the especial cocktail de mariscons, or what's seafoods? Marisco, yeah, mariscos. I said, yeah, Cameroon is shrimp. Boy, it had big fat shrimp, big fat oysters. Big. I don't even know. There was one thing. I think it was just a part of. I don't know. It had a lot of octopus. Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, all kinds of different stuff in it. So, what's the question we're dealing with right now? Before I was interrupted by an idiot, I really need to fix my ringer. I've had a couple of calls. It looks like, yeah. I can't. I don't. I need to fix my ringer. That's not the ringer. That's brightness. Uh-oh. Atlanta police killed somebody after a struggle. Shoot, kill suspect after a struggle. Struggle on the drive-through line. Reported to police for sleeping in a car blocking the drive-through lane. Shot and killed after he failed a field sobriety test to resist arrest. Rayshard Brooks, probably black. Lovely. So now they're demonstrating outside of McDonald's. I don't want to look at that shit. I want to find my mirror. Can't get it. Yeah, it's all the way muted. I don't know how it does this. It just fucking mutes itself. And then I can't. There we go. Okay, now I'll hear it ring until the next time it mutes itself. I just don't like that notion at all, Milton. You know, that's really troublesome. That's awful. It's just it's not HA. They come around the corner. These guys are coming up behind me with the knives out from the alley when I came out of the hot dog joint, the hamburger joint. And Larry's coming around the other corner. The joint's sitting in between. It's sitting in between the corner. There was a thing on the corner, and it was sitting, boarded up place in the corner. It's sitting next to it, and then the alley. And Larry's coming around the corner with his buddy, and I'm coming out this way. I'm greeting Larry, and he just pushed me aside. They just pushed me aside and went straight through me and put these two guys up against the wall and took the knives away from them. That's more HA. They party hard, but they aren't records like that. They're not racist as far as I know, because I know I met a black Oakland HA guy that was real close to Sonny Barger. I drove up from Venice Beach one time, back to Berkeley or back to Oakland. So I know they're not racist, and this is all a bunch of black people in there. I don't think that's HA. That sounds like a bad rumor. Let me see if I can find anything going on Facebook with them. Talk to somebody. Let's see if anybody needs me for anything. I'm probably, if she answers, I'm shutting this down. But I got to check in on a good friend of mine. She just took a timeout for herself 2 hours ago. It's like, I'm out of here. Okay, so that's why she's shut it. She got her shit shut off. She's not taking calls. Okay, so we don't have to worry about her. She's on a mental health day. Okay, that's tobacco. I want tobacco right now. Well, this is what she's pissed off about. I'm trying to talk her into coming on. She's a little drunk. I'm trying to talk her into coming and joining us. I don't have many people here. Who's here? Show of hands, please. Who's here still? Because if it's only bots, I'm going to shut it down and focus on my family at Facebook. Come on, check in. I need somebody to tell me who these 3 people are. Identified 4 now. I need people. You know, I got to know. I got family that's like chattering at Facebook. I need to shut this down and go talk to. If I just got idiots here. So please identify yourselves, whoever's here. Meanwhile, I'm going to go see what the idiots are going to say and keep trying to talk Kathy into it. I guess she'll take the call. I thought she had her phone turned off. She's just taking a crap. I can't be angry and unhappy. I've never been able to stay angry and unhappy very long. It just doesn't feel good to me. Carrying a grudge, being all upset about shit, it's totally out of my control. This is not me. I stay as happy as I can and as lighthearted about shit as I can. As Oscar Wilde said something about life's too short to take it too seriously. See there's my tray. That was an ounce 3 days ago. There's a big no. So that's this fucking thing weighed 5 grams. So there's more than a quarter there, and there's probably see how big those roaches are. That's pretty good shit. Anyway, that's live video. We don't want to do that. I'm already videoing live. I'm streaming myself. I'm streaming. Go away. So discard. If we want to go to Messenger and call Kathy again. Here we go. Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be real fun if she picks it up. She is such a fun person. All right, there she is. Are we having fun yet, dear? Shit, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you. Fuck. Let me see if I got any volume here. Nope. Can't hear you. Shit. Nope. Can't hear. No ear. Can you hear me? Try again. Now, why didn't that work? I don't have any earphones either.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I couldn't with the video on. Say something again. Nope. Something's interfering. I have no idea what it is. Shit. I don't even want to speculate on what something is interfering. Okay, she's calling me. And that just, yeah.
Can you hear me this time?
Yes, ma'am. Problem.
Alrighty then.
Oh, and the video's working too. It came straight to the phone. Problem is the phone is synced to the computer and hardwired right now. And I'm streaming on the webcam, and it wasn't connecting the stream to the phone properly, but now it's got it.
Awesome. And full disclosure up front, like at 1 o'clock, I got like kind of in a bad place from like a lot, so I apologize for that.
That's okay. It's better than you being upset and angry.
I mean, I'm kind of always upset and angry on my main one these days.
But you can stay smiling about it when you're all full of alcohol.
Well, like I said, you know, it's the life. It's just like super friendly extrovert. Unless you're the bitch at the gas station that's a transphobes my kid, and then I'm gonna try to eat your face.
Right, I know the feeling. Like I've been telling you for the last couple of days, is you're mellow compared to the way I was when I was your age.
I mean, I did so long where I was like nice, kind, sweet, like here let me hold your hand and probably lady. You know what I am done? I said like a 10,000 person.
You got to try and stay close to the phone. I'm not hearing you. You're too far from the microphone.
Okay. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. So for almost a decade, I held the hand of crazy, fragile cis parents. It's a video call at hand. And you know what it got me? You know, like a 10,000 person community full of fragile cis parents that talk over trans religion.
Oh, it's got to be.
It is what it is.
It's got to be just. I have the same thing as an auntie, where I'm standing trans femme intersex AMAB, in the middle of the fucking madness. And everybody's talking all over each other, talking about what's really trans and what's really not. And here I am, excuse me, they cut on me when I was a kid, so they're not cutting on me again. All right. And my hair is too much of a fucking mess for me to even try to look femme. And I'm not going to wear wigs and corsets and shit like that, because it triggers my dysphoria, and it's too fucking hot here. So
We live in Central Indiana, and my daughter is like the wig and extension queen, right? She's done like making lace fronts since she was 10, like, and so good. Even that, it's too fucking hot here. I mean, can't even imagine freaking Arizona how hot it has to be.
it's 105 degrees outside right now. And there's a fucking wildfire up the hill, so I can hardly breathe because smoke's in the basin.
I can't even imagine.
Oh, you don't get wildfires here.
No, we don't. We just get crazy, intense-driven rednecks here.
They pretty much got the rednecks under control around here. We're kind of a blue oasis in this state.
You are kind of like a happy little like bubble where you live.
Oh, absolutely.
And I have.
I mean, do you have any relationship with any of these QPOC that have taken over Saga, the moms? Like, do you have any relationship with this idiot that fucking believes the bullshit about me? Huh?
I know most of them. But you know what I know? It's been like 6 to 12 months since I've been like, shut the fuck up about Tommy. And they stopped fucking approaching me.
They told you to you told them to shut the fuck up about me, and oh, that's nice.
But the fact matter is that I'm the one with 35,000 member community, so like they kind of have to give me a good grade.
Have you ever seen them say anything about me?
Just the shit you said to me privately.
Okay, so you never saw Bam. You were just speaking on behalf of what I asked you to.
Absolutely.
And they didn't want to hear my side of it at all.
No, even when I presented it, no.
And then, this girl had been making her own decisions since she was 9 years old about who she was going to sleep with and what she was going to do in the bed while she was with them. From the time she was 9.
I mean, okay, so like, here's the way I look at things. Are you a different person now than you were when you were 40?
No, I'm not a different person than I was when I was 8. I'm fucking totally developmentally arrested and been clinging to myself all my life.
But you can't tell me you don't make different choices today than you did then.
I'm wiser about it. That's what I'm talking to you about. When I was 40, I was ready to fucking fight everybody.
And that's what we're in right now.
I understand that.
To the point in time where we're just like, fuck it, I'm tired, I'm done.
No, you get to that point where you've struggled. You're past you're totally past your youth. You're totally past your prime, and now you're in middle age, and you're still like dealing with the same shit.
Yep.
I know it because I'm 66 and I'm still dealing with the same fucking shit. But at least my parents are starting to understand.
Man, I only have one step, but it is what it is. And again, full disclosure, I told you I was super drunk before you called me, right?
Well, that's good. Because you were super angry and uptight this morning and just ready to rage at anything for the last couple of days.
I mean, like, I woke up and I took like a 3-hour nap and I woke up at around midnight last night and I was just like, okay, so now I'm going to rant. But it's been forever. You know what, man? I have held and coddled. You know what a bad reputation my community has with the trans community? Because we hold and coddle the new parents. The struggling parents, the parents that are like.
Why did the trans community object to that? This is what brought me and mine out.
Yeah, I like coddle the freaking new parents. No, we do. I'm gonna openly say that we do because in my world, those parents, when kids come out to them and they're like, okay, cool, we're 100% on board.
What do you think what do they think you're doing wrong?
They don't need me. Those parents are okay. They don't need me. But the parents are struggling. The parents are like, why is this not about me? Why is this not about my religion? Why is this not about where I live? Why is this not
Well, it's about dealing with a queer kid and protecting that kid, making sure they can go to the bathroom without fucking a lot of harassment. It don't matter what color you are.
There is a reason why I've homeschooled my grandkids since 2009. There is a damn good reason. Because my kid would have been in the same bathroom as 15-year-old Bill Jack fucking Indiana Redneck. Nope.
No, absolutely. I mean, this is what brought people like me out. This is like, okay, I'm being stupid. There's kids here having happy childhoods, and the parents need my help. The baby trans people need my help because I've forgotten more about the science of all this than most people have ever known. I've lived it all my life. I survived 66 years of it. Those kids cheered for me after I spoke at that fucking school board hearing. They broke out in a chant. When I said I was going to be 66 in November on election day, they cheered. When I finished and I said, we can't go back, they said, we won't go back. They broke into a fucking chant. We won't go back. We won't go back. We can't go back. I was just talking with, one of my best friends, cis lady friends in town. And she says, I never knew exactly what her orientation was until today when she said, I'm straight, but not narrow. She's a second generation rainbow hippie. I had to hide being queer all my life, but I've been a rainbow hippie all my life.
I mean, I wish I was like chill and laid back and mellow enough to be a hippie. Like I wanted to be a hippie my entire life. Going back to like when I was a teenager.
Oh, sure.
I wanted to be that hippie chick,
Well, you still managed to do it, it looks like to me, with the, on the biker side of it. The rubber tramp shit. But it was all a bunch of rednecks, wasn't it?
I'm not. I'm loud and I'm yelling. That's how I am.
We hippie chicks are loud too. There's hippie chicks, you know, some of the mamas are crustier than me. Say fuck a
Right.
lot more than I do. You know,
I wish I was like the kind of earth mama you were.
I wasn't an earth mama, I was a nature boy. I couldn't be a mama.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I really
And
wasn't.
that there's that, like, there's that little bit of redneck Indiana in me that's like, you know, the big thing is, and I know I'm jumping with super topics here. Anybody who knew my kids, the first 6 years of their life, anyone, every single person is different for 6 years. The day after that ER visit, when I was like, hey, fun fact, my kid, ignore the penis. And this was like 2009.
How old was she?
Anybody who knew her was like, okay, that makes sense. Even like the NRA, super conservative, Indiana, Pence people were like, that's okay, we get it.
Yeah, there was nobody there. That's okay. Yeah,
But the fact of the matter is that it doesn't matter. Because ultimately, if other people understood or didn't, my kids still who they are. And I will still burn the world down for her.
the
Just
big
like you would.
people need to stop imposing their will on others without their consent.
Yep.
You know, they need to stop imagining things about the parents of transgender children and really do their homework and find out what happened, where it was the doctors who put their foot down on conversion therapy and started telling you all to raise your kids, let your kids be themselves and just sit back, don't encourage them or discourage them, just let them be themselves. That's all that happened.
And I gotta tell you, I was going to say that conversion therapy is not even illegal.
It's hardly illegal anywhere. They don't even have infant genital mutilation banned anywhere. Hardly. It just failed in California because the law that they tried to write does not leave any kind of wiggle room for the people that actually need to have the infant surgery because there's dysfunction in urinary, there's urinary and fecal dysfunction because of the variation. So they didn't leave any wiggle room, but they haven't quit because that was the only thing that killed it. They need to provide for the people that actually need it. Huh?
Any gray area whatsoever. I said they didn't even leave gray area for intersex kids. They left nothing anywhere. No wiggle room whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, there's, you know, intersex, about 98% of the surgery they did on me was totally cosmetic. They felt lumps where they didn't belong. They were supposed to be in my scrotum, so they put them there. And that fucked up my whole nervous system. And they 98% of them were cosmetic. Fucking surgeon that did me was my father's buddy. This is a story. This is a real fucking story. I mean, I'm sort of an arranged marriage, right? My father and mother met at Senn High School, but my mother was in love with my father's best friend and thought my father was an asshole, thought he was an insufferable asshole, which he finally last week admitted to me for the first time that he knows he's an insufferable asshole. And at 92, busted us. Oh my God. I'll get to that in a minute. I mean, this is just hilarious because like all this madness is going on around me while my life is coming together. I have almost $2,000 in liquid assets right now. I have no tools that I need to buy right now. The most expensive thing that I need soon is a bottle of. I buy a gallon. I buy 101 ounces of olive oil at a time, and I found it for $28 fucking dollars.
Wow.
Well, I'm not sure if it's a fresh batch. It could be 2018. So I checked with the seller. If it's 2019, I'm buying more than one bottle at $28, and because I got friends that want it. You'd probably want. You know, I can. if you want one, I can do a drop ship. I could buy four gallons of it and send them to 4 different places.
I mean, if it's real.
Huh?
If it's real in like 2018 or, you know.
Well, this is a gallon of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll last you all year, pretty much. If you don't use it all the time. I mean, it lasts me 6 months, and I use a lot of it.
Right.
But if you want, I'm checking on. If it's legit, I'm going to set up a group buy with them and just do I'll check with the seller and make sure I can do it. And I'll just, anybody who wants one, I know my friend Donna is going to jump all over it if she didn't jump all over it herself on her own. But Donna Nassar is from Lebanon, or her family is. She's born here, and now she's a retired criminal lawyer. She's retired in Florida. She got a second husband in Florida, settled back, and she's getting into Middle Eastern cooking. So, food porn. Do you do food porn? I do a lot of food porn posts. Do you like my food porn posts?
In and out, so.
I'm not close enough to the thing, I think. I said her food porn has all been Middle Eastern cooking lately. Did you hear that?
Right.
There's probably, I think we're getting a little lag here.
I just pausing that like you're like local to catch up with your video.
I'm sorry, say again.
I said I'm pausing like 5 seconds and I'll let your local recording catch up with your video.
5 seconds behind. I think I'm going to cut off. It's already been going 3 hours. Nobody's saying anything. Thanks for coming, guys. I want to take the strain off my machine and end this stream. Happy day. Bye. No, I'm not ending with you. I'm ending the stream.